It's a blackout at Old Dominion for a football team that says it's fired up to turn around the season. They're out to prove it tonight here in front of their home crowd against one of the best in Conference USA. It's Mike White in Western Kentucky here tonight on the road. College football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. As the 4-2 Hilltoppers, winners of 3 straight, enter tonight Norfolk taking on the Monarchs, who have dropped 4 in a row, but they swear that tonight is what's going to turn around the season as everybody's looking up at Marshall midway part of this year. Hey folks, how are you? Jason Horowitz, happy to be alongside 2-time Super Bowl champion David Deal and welcome you into our booth. Third member of our team, Eric Coleman, 10-year NFL vet down on the sideline. We'll bring him in just a little bit. And David, one of the things about these two teams is that they've had so much offensive firepower the last few years, but they're both searching for offensive identities, although Western Kentucky found some last week.
Old Dominion has been struggling offensively, but Western Kentucky really bounced back last week against Charlotte. 45 points on the board, over 15 receivers caught the football offensively, and you could see the adjustments that they made offensively in different personnel groupings, different formations, have really helped this offense really take stride, and now we see a Mike White comfortable in a new system.
Yeah, he's the starting quarterback. Last year, all kinds of records that he said he's the preseason conference player of the year. Before last week, 2 touchdowns on the season. He had 5 last week against Charlotte.
And that was the big turnaround. They striked first right away. They scored on their opening 3 drives, and right with that, you could see the confidence level of him raise, and that's why he was able to go through all his progressions, get to the checkdowns, and not feel like he had to force anything.
That's for an offense that last year led the nation in scoring. Again, trying to find that this year. Old Dominion, on the other hand, they start a 17-year-old quarterback. It's the youngest player in all of FBS, and Stephen Williams. He's making his 4th career start. So what do you do to try and help a guy in an offense that's struggling? Well, you get 2 good running backs.
Absolutely. Right now, Jeremy Cox and Ray Lowry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Ray Lowry is back. They are both healthy, and they've got to lean on this running game for this offense to ease the transition for Stephen Williams, because he's really struggled on those 3rd and 7 pluses.
And Ray Lowry missed some games with a hamstring injury. It's a beautiful day here in Norfolk. Western Kentucky getting the ball first. And away we go here on Friday night under the lights here in Norfolk. That's Cameron Eccles-Looper back out to the 16-yard line as we go down to the 3rd member of our team, Eric Coleman.
Thanks, guys. Old Dominion wants to get back to their old ways of winning. The senior captains on the team started with asking coach if they can have a fully padded practice less than 24 hours after their loss to Marshall last week. That offensively is going to start with simplifying things. They want to make the game easy for Stephen Williams and get the ball to their running backs. Defensively, they want to get back to forcing turnovers and keeping the ball out of Mike White's hands. Back to you guys.
All right, well, Mike White will get the ball first for this offense against an Old Dominion defense that played well first couple of quarters, but did give up 21 points in the 4th last week to Marshall. That is Quentin Baker on the first down, pickup of about 5 as we take a look at our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And Mike White last year led the nation with 44 completions of more than 30 yards. This year, just 7, still completing nearly 67% of his passes. But again, 2 touchdowns in the first 5 games and 5 last week. It's 2nd and 5. He's got a completion to the near side. That is Kylan Towner. And it is close to the first down. The rest of the offense, Dion Yelder, their starting tight end, David, got off to a great game last week.
Huge game last week, 7 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown. He is that big body tight end that has emerged, especially down the seams for this team.
7 catches and those 92 yards. It is 3rd and short for Western Kentucky, and White takes the quarterback sneak and has enough for the first down. So we take a look at the Old Dominion defense on the season, giving up nearly 35 points per game. They've had a whole bunch of injuries. O'Shane Ziminis, though, he's their all-time career leader in sacks.
O'Shane Ziminis is an absolute freak. He is everything that you're looking for out of a defensive end. He has to be an impact player in this football game to get Mike White off of the spot and create that pressure that they need for this defense to come away with the takeaway.
And he's opposite Boomy Rotimi, who also has 17 career sacks. White, quick throw. Eccles-Looper the catch. Brought down quickly by Denzel Williams, making a 5th straight start. Redshirt sophomore out of Petersburg, Virginia. He's made 40 tackles the last 4 games.
Mike White in this offense, they're striking fast. They're not in the huddle. They're going up tempo, and they're trying to get this Old Dominion defense on their heels immediately.
Monarchs showing pressure. White the handoff. That's DeAndre Furby out across the 40-yard line. And they have not been a team that's been able to run the football this season, but he had a huge hole on second down.
Look at, they're just going inside run, and there's nobody on the backside to have lane discipline and own that gap the backside. Anytime you're running the football offensively in the inside zone, there's no backside. So for those backside defensive ends, you've got to make sure that you don't crash and give a seam like they just did.
Furby, a redshirt junior, he missed all of last season after getting hurt on the opening play of the season. Quick pass, that's complete. Lucky Jackson gets into Old Dominion territory at the 49-yard line, and that's a pickup of 11, and they'll move the sticks again.
Once again, he's going up against Brandon Addison, who is their best corner, but they're giving him a lot of space off of the line of scrimmage. They've got to do something different to change it up so that they get some press at the line.
Rotimi gets into the backfield, so does Pat Toll on the carry from Furby, and that's been the key, what they told us yesterday in talking to the coaching staffs. Rich Nagy, the defensive coordinator for Old Dominion, we have to get them on 1- and 2-yard plays on first down.
No question. They've got to make sure that they minimize their effectiveness on first and second down, and in third down, they're going to have to get some pressure on him. They're going to have to disguise some things because Mike White has played a lot of football, and if they just sit there, he will pick you apart.
36th start of his career. White, quick throw and a quick tackle. That's Jaquez Sloan, true freshman, but again, Dunzell Williams has been a big-time playmaker the last few weeks, and it's 3rd and long.
Great recognition by Jaquez Sloan, being able to get through that outside block by the wide receiver and tight end Deion Yelder and come up with a key stop.
On the season, Western Kentucky is 43% on 3rd down. That's Baker running to the far sideline. Furby, much better blocking back with White on 3rd and 12. Check over to the sideline. Different offense this year for the Hilltoppers into their first year with Mike Sanford as head coach. Looked like movement, and now we've got the stop.
Ball start. Offense number 69. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That is 5th-year senior Matt Nord, and that's one of the things Mike Sanford told us yesterday, David, is that we've had some drives, and this is a long drive to start the game, but every time that's happened, we've had an issue here and there to kill it.
And that is one of the toughest things when you have these self-inflicted wounds. You know that you worked silent count. You know you worked against the crowd noise. But when you do that and you get that jump, you're only putting yourself at offensive tackle at a terrible position right now when you're staring down at 3rd and 17.
ODU rushes 4. White's got plenty of time and almost intercepted. He stared down the receiver the whole way. Sean Carter, 4th-year junior at safety, make the play, and it's 4th down.
Sean Carter, you see the outside route. He's breaking back, coming back to the football, but great break. You see that his eyes the entire time are on Mike White, following through the progressions, and that's what you're able to do when you're in a 3rd and 17. You don't have to be as pressure packaged, and you can play coverage just like they did.
Now, this is an issue for Old Dominion in that Darrell Brown back deep to receive the punt from Jake Collins. He's 10 yards per return, but he has muffed 3 kicks on the season, and they were a little concerned about that heading into this game. Collins gets a good kick away, and Brown takes it at the 21-yard line. 35-yard punt, no return. 4.5 minutes into this game. Big Friday night for both Western Kentucky and Old Dominion.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Verizon, the best network and the best unlimited. And by Chick-fil-A. Start game day strong with the new breakfast hash brown scramble bowl.
Now, Virginia Beach, just down the road from here in Norfolk. I'm pretty sure half our crew spent half the day there as we've had a gorgeous Friday. Nothing here, 4.5 minutes into the opening quarter. Jason Horowitz, David Deal, Eric Coleman down on the field, and Stephen Williams, who will not turn 18 until November 4th, true freshman out of Washington, D.C., making his 4th career start. The youngest FBS player to play in any game, any position this season, David.
Absolutely incredible.
Hand off to Ray Lowry on first down. They needed a spark, and Lowry's got a huge hole and a lot of room. Lowry on the first play for the Monarchs down to the 25-yard line. Pickup of 53 on first down for ODU.
Well, that is a great way to start for Old Dominion, to be able to get the ball right into their playmakers' hands and Ray Lowry and be able to bounce back from the way that they've played. You know, if you're able to get these big-time runs, you are going to take the pressure off of Stephen Williams.
And time for an injured player. That is Marcus Ward, fifth-year senior safety. Was a 3-year starter before this season. But Ray Lowry, speaking of injuries, Ray Lowry tore his hamstring in their opener against Albany this season. And he just came back last week against Marshall, 14 carries for 40 yards. Talking to him this week, he said, I had the full gear in practice, and it was a different story.
You see Nick Clark in this one pull out in the open, and you can see him turn on that next speed, that next acceleration. And that's one of the biggest things. Even when you feel healthy and you know you're healthy, mentally being able to push yourself through the injury. And he said this week in practice was the first time that he felt that he could hit that top-notch speed.
And how hard is that?
That is very difficult when you are a dynamic player like that, running the football each and every time. I mean, when you're dealing with a hamstring, every once in a while you'll feel that little tightness creep up, and you got to know you're going to have a little bit of scar tissue. That doesn't mean that you're going to hurt it right away.
So they help Marcus Ward. So Ward being helped off the field. Missed last year. He injured his knee in the second game of the season against Alabama. Devin Key's been starting all season, but he's banged up as well. And that's another key to this game for Western Kentucky. They've been battling injuries on the defensive side of the ball all season. Yeah,
you talk about Roger Cray, who was starting in place of Joe Brown, who is their best defensive back. And now you have Marcus Ward coming off of the football field. So you know at that position in the secondary that they are very thin.
So Kyle Bailey, number 36 for Western Kentucky. He's been a linebacker all season. He's playing safety here on 1st and 10 for ODU. Lowry the handoff again. Gets to the outside, knocked out of bounds. DeAndre Ferris, the corner, pushed him out after a couple. Our starting lineup brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And then again, Stephen Williams at quarterback. He made his first career start 5 weeks ago against Virginia Tech. And Bud Foster's defense, which is a tough welcome to college football. Design run, and he gets it down to the 20-yard line. And it'll be a 3rd and about 5 for ODU, the rest of this offense. And it starts with Nick Clark, their 3rd-year center.
It does. When we talked to offensive coordinator Brian Scott, they said they took a lot off of Stephen Williams' plate and put it on their 3rd-year starter at Nick Clark at center. He's going to be calling the protections. He's going to be making the mic call to make it easier for Stephen Williams in this football game.
First pass of the game for Williams. Takes off again. Gets the first down. And inside the 10. Bailey came up to make the hit, but not before he picked up 12 and a first down.
And that is one thing that they said. Don't be scared. When you see only 4 rushing and everybody dropping back in coverage, they said it's the complete opposite with this 17-year-old. They said most of these quarterbacks that come in, they're thinking run first. He is a pass-first quarterback, so they're like, don't be scared to tuck it away and go with it. And they're having huge chunks of gains from it today.
Monarchs into the red zone, brought to you by Verizon. They have not gotten in the end zone very often. They hand off to Jeremy Cox. And he's met at the line by the Hilltoppers. As we take a look quickly at the Hilltoppers defense. Front 4, a strength. Joel Iyiegbuniwe, though, the best playmaker.
Iyiegbuniwe is probably the most dynamic player that they feel on this football team. They could have him off of the line of scrimmage. They can have him in blitz packages. They could put him on the line of scrimmage. So he is that all-around versatile player that they need.
It's an Old Dominion team on the season averaging just 17 points per game. Had a couple of chances early last week against Marshall. Did not punch it in. Lowry plunging towards the goal line. Touchdown, Monarchs. Welcome back to health, Ray Lowry. And ODU 7 minutes into the game, up 6-0.
Well, they said that they were coming into this football game Friday Night Lights with a lot of confidence, and they said that we're not scared. We want to strike first. And they've right away gone to Lowry. They believe that if they give him 20 touches and they give Cox 20 touches this game, they feel that that is their recipe for success. They're running the football immediately. They're getting downhill. They're pushing piles. And this offensive line is doing a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage and giving their running backs a two-way go.
So 6 plays on the drive, and they're just confirming that Lowry got in before his knee was down. Every play in college under review. Our Conference USA crew. And tough to tell from that angle. With the lineman on the other side. Maybe this is the spot. Does Lowry's knee go down before the ball crosses the goal line?
That's another view. Very hard to see.
After review, the runner was down at the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd down.
All right, so take that off the board.
There's the knee right there. Great call by the officials.
So down on the 1. And so that'll bring up 3rd and goal for ODU, and Lowry back out onto the field. One receiver, Melvin Vaughn, for a jumbo package. This entire drive has been on the ground. And it stays that way. Up and over, and this time he is in. No question about that one for Lowry. And now it's 6-0 Monarchs.
Way to make a statement on your opening drive, running the football, not being timid. Stephen Williams tucking the football away if you didn't see anything, having a designed run. They've definitely changed up the way that they've come into this football game, simplified things, and know that if they're going to win this game, control the ground game, keep Mike White off of the football field.
So Nick Rice, true freshman from St. Petersburg, on for the extra point. Perfect on the season, and he stays that way. Lowry, 4 carries and 63 yards on their first drive. And a huge, huge momentum boost for a team trying to snap a 4-game skid. Old Dominion was looking for explosive plays coming into this game, and they got a 53-yard run on their first play from a scrimmage. Ray Lowry capped it off with a touchdown, and Bobby Wilder, 9th-year head coach for this program that came back to football 9 years ago. He's been here the entire time, and he told us yesterday, look, we're going to be excited. We feel like we have the talent to be the team that we were last year, which was a 10-win football team.
And when you look at a team like this that has this amount of youth on it, but they're getting experience, they're playing better football, if they just cut out with the mistakes, whether it's the penalties, whether it's the turnovers, whether it's the drop balls, they put themselves in some positions in football games that they could have been a lot closer in some of those 3 losses that they've had back to back to back.
They scored first last week. We're up 3-0 late into the second quarter at Marshall. They went into the halftime trailing 7-3. Western Kentucky gave up some big plays early last week in the win against Charlotte. And now the Hilltoppers will have to bounce back. That is Eccles Looper picking it up at the 10, and he's got a hole out to the 27. Now he's brought down, and that's where Western Kentucky will take over with its second drive of the ball game. And this is something that happened last year between these two teams. Both were 7-1 in the conference, but Western Kentucky last year beat Old Dominion 59-24. Turned out to be the tiebreaker why the Hilltoppers played in the championship game. And this is what happened at the end of the play. That is Justin Noy getting into it with Xavier Lane.
A little extra, a little push, a little shove. You know, this is something that happens. It's a heated rivalry and you're fighting, but after this one, as a player, you know that you need to be smart. Don't be the player to cost your team a 15-yard penalty that could be crucial in this game.
Men, with that, nobody ran from the sideline onto the field.
And then watch the game from the stands. No Marshawn Lynch here.
So we move on. That on CBS last night, thrilling finish with the Raiders and the Chiefs. Western Kentucky took it to midfield on its opening drive. Here's the second drive, and a flag flies. No pickup. Jakari Moses on the carry. Hilltoppers will roll 4 running backs. See what the marker is. It's Rodney Burnett referee for this Conference USA crew.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And so it's 1st and 15. Let's find out what's the deal with David Deal.
Looking forward to this now for the Old Dominion football team. 20 for 20. 20 touches for Lowry, 20 for Cox. And on the defensive side of the ball, where we're seeing right now, they've got to disguise their blitzes. They've got to show them, drop out, show them, and come. They've got to do something to confuse Mike White. And for Western Kentucky, they have yet to have a 20-plus yard rush this season and impact plays on defense. They've got to be able to create takeaways and make sure that they force Williams into bad throws.
And that's White on the rollout, and it's too high for Towner. And White took a shot at the end of that play. And again, that's exactly what you were talking about. Make him roll out of the pocket.
They want to do anything they can to change the launch point because they feel if they start getting those hits on Mike White and he isn't comfortable in the pocket like he wants to be, that's where from that 6'5" frame you're going to start seeing balls sail, get thrown over the top. That can be key takeaways for this defense.
White hit his first 4 passes. He has missed his last 2. And again, 2nd and 15 after the penalty that started this drive. Pocket holds. Good stick up the middle. Big hit from Rob Thompson and a late flag. Dion Yelder made the catch. And when that flag flies on that play, usually targeting is the call.
Absolutely, and you knew this was a start that they wanted to have. They needed to get Dion Yelder down the seams, which they did just on that play because he is such a big body and a tough matchup for linebackers. Big hit.
It's a 26-yard pickup on the strike to the tight end. Did he lead with the head to the area of the neck or above? Now, Thompson came up saying he led with his shoulder.
It looks like the shoulder.
There is no foul for targeting. The contact was in the chest area.
And so there you go.
It's good. He hit with the shoulder, got him into numbers. The helmet got to the side of the shoulder pad shell. It's down below. No targeting.
Yeah. He led with the shoulder. He hit in the shoulder. But Yelder at the moment is still down. And this is a player, David, that is a 5th-year senior out of Louisville. And Mike Sanford told us yesterday when he got to Western Kentucky for spring ball and they went through all of spring ball, they said, we don't have any tight ends. And then they looked at Dion Yelder. And he said, yeah, we got a player here.
And there he is defending his player, going out there, arguing the call. But I think the officials got this one right. And now when we're sitting here looking at Dion Yelder on the field, this is where Myquan Dean has got to step up and play for this football team. Dion Yelder's up and yelling, so looks like he's okay.
Yeah, now his yelling is at his own teammates to get it started.
Let's go.
Right, he made an enormous catch for this team.
He's yelling because right now Old Dominion is the one that they're throwing the punches. They're making the hits, and they're the one that they're playing faster and showing that they want it more right now.
Now, if you're wondering about the new rule in college football this year, because we just showed you Mike Sanford leaving the sideline to talk to the officials and talk about a call, which is a penalty this year. That's not the case during a stoppage.
Got it.
Hence no flag on the coach. Now, a new quarterback here for Mike White. That is Drew Eccles, redshirt junior out of Daytona, Florida. Much more of a runner, and he keeps it himself and gets across the 45. And that's more than 10 and a first down. Mike White not a mobile quarterback. Eccles is, and they changed it up a little bit. Now Mike White comes back in.
Well, it's nice that they can come in with that run-pass option and run the zone read off of it because he has that athletic ability. And that's how you can really change the way that this defense for Old Dominion is trying to scheme up against this offense.
They bring Baker back with White in the backfield. Flag flies. White's got all the time in the world. Heaves it downfield to the end zone. Touchdown, Hilltoppers. Jaquez Sloan, the true freshman, for 44 yards.
And it's going to be a touchdown.
Defense, number 4 in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalties declined. Touchdown.
How about the momentum shift on that catch from Yelder and the energy completely on the Hilltopper sideline?
Well, you see them bounce back, being able to run the zone read earlier. Mike White comes back into the football game and has a free play. Is able to take that shot downfield and see Jaquez Sloan catch it in the back of the end zone.
Last week he had his first career touchdown. This week, back-to-back weeks. And Western Kentucky lined up like they were going to go for two, and now they trot on the kicker, Ryan Nuss. Junior out of Fairfield, Ohio, who has not missed an extra point all season. This to tie it here in the first quarter. And knotted at 7. Big plays from both offenses. They've been searching for it all season, and the Hilltoppers seem to have found it. White to Sloan, and we're knotted at 7. Jason Horwitz, David Deal, Eric Coleman, happy to have you back with us in Norfolk. It's 7 apiece, Western Kentucky and Old Dominion. Our Tops Crew sounds off Sunday morning at 8 Eastern. It's our panel of NFL experts bring you up to speed on everything from the field to fantasy. Don't miss that other pregame show presented by Kubota on CBS Sports Network. I'm sure they'll be talking about backup quarterbacks, Brett Hundley. But here tonight, a couple of explosive plays, and Jaquez Sloan, true freshman out of Atlanta, with the touchdown grab to tie this game at 7.
You know, they just went with a little 2 wide receiver bunch look with Cam Eccles Looper and with Jaquez Sloan. And Jaquez Sloan, for a true freshman, they talked about his speed, taking shots downfield, and they want to get him more involved in the offense.
Cox from the 3 for the Monarchs. Backs it up, breaks a tackle. Cox to the outside, and a flag flies at the 30. And they say he's down. A 31-yard return for the junior running back, but we'll have to check the marker. Now, coming into this game, neither of these teams successful on 30-plus yard plays. Combined, they had 11. They both have one.
Return, holding by the receiving team, number 16. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So let's go back to that last touchdown. What happened, Deal?
So we got Jaquez Sloan on the outside and Eccles Looper on the inside. He's just going to run a deep post. And when you see the defensive back, Addison out here, who is their best defensive back, his eyes the entire time are looking at the quarterback. That's fine if you want to do that, but you've also got to make sure that you stay right on that inside hip of your wide receiver, and you can't let him go over the top and have that type of play.
So now it's resiliency, and that's what Coach Wilder talked to us about yesterday. How resilient would this team be if they gave up a big play? They did, and Stephen Williams is back out. Handoff to Cox. Johnson pulling him down at the 19-yard line. Chris Johnson, senior out of Gulfport, Mississippi. No gain on the ground, and it'll bring up 2nd and 10. Old Dominion still yet to throw a pass here in this opening quarter.
On that one, great job by Derek Overstreet getting penetration and making that ball bounce outside.
Nick Clark, the center. He's in charge of all the calls today. Blitz comes from the Hilltoppers. Pocket collapses. Williams heaves it, looking for Fulgham. And it's incomplete to Corian Darden. Nickel corner in coverage. And Williams got hit late, holding the shoulder.
Nice job eluding the pressure, being able to roll out of the pocket to the right. And I mean, he just threw an absolute laser lefty at the sidelines. He does a nice job pulling up, and that one was almost complete. I know here on the sidelines for Old Dominion, they were looking for defensive pass interference.
And Williams didn't even take a hit on the play. It looked like he stepped wrong or whatever it is. He stays out there for 3rd and 10. Williams looking to extend, and he's brought down from behind. Julian Lewis with the tackle after a pickup of 1. And it'll bring up 4th down for the Monarchs as Williams hobbles off to the sideline.
Nice job in coverage. You see up front that they're running double stunts, TEs, tackle and twists on both sides. There is a lane that opens up that he thinks he can run, but great job with the defensive line maintaining gap discipline and making sure they press back into that pocket.
And we'll have to find out what happened with Williams. Not the starter to begin this season. Bailey Kate, a booming punt, and Nakarius Fant calls for the fair catch at the 33. 45-yard punt, 4:43 to go in the opening quarter. One of the reasons Old Dominion went to Stephen Williams is because of his arm strength and the amount of starts he had in high school at a high level. He showed off the arm strength a couple plays ago, rolling to his right and throwing with his left, but David Deal, he pulls up lame.
He's holding on to that right shoulder, feeling like it's a little something. Obviously, when you're going across the grain, throwing it, and obviously we see the laser that he has as an arm, which is a great thing. But as a young quarterback coming into the college game, you got to realize you don't have to try going every time for those 20 or 30-yard routes. You can go to your short and intermediate inside the 10 to make sure that you're staying ahead of the chains. And that's something that he's learning with this experience as a quarterback.
So after the 3 and out on offense, it's the Hilltoppers and Quentin Baker getting drilled. Denzel Williams coming up to make his 3rd tackle of the opening quarter. But flags on the far side of the field, and we'll check the marker.
Offside, defense number 7 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that's O'Shane Ziminis, defensive end with 17.5 career sacks, who, David, you highlighted at the beginning of this game.
He is an absolute freak outside at defensive end. Long arm, can stab, work the edges, but that's now back-to-back. Their 2 bookends have had key penalties, one on 3rd down that allowed a touchdown, and then now in this drive that you're giving them the extra 5 yards. You're giving Mike White an opportunity to strike again.
Deion Yelder back into the game for the Hilltoppers. Baker up the middle for a couple of yards. Remember, Yelder took that huge hit, the tight end, on a 26-yard catch over the middle after his 7-catch performance last week.
And he's going to be crucial in this football game. It's great that he's healthy and back out on the field because they want to open up things down and take down those big shots. You've got to make sure you get your tight end involved.
And up again, Baker breaks one up the middle, and a shoestring tackle might have just saved the touchdown. Andre Bernard make the tackle, but Quentin Baker gets it to the 41.
Once again, that backside zone. You know, you see everybody getting pushed down inside, and nobody has, again, that backside zone discipline to maintain gap control.
16 yards, and it's back to Baker. Cuts it back. Plants the foot into the 36. As we go downstairs to Eric Coleman.
Right now, Stephen Williams, it seems to be fine. The coaches, the trainers have said they're not working on him and that he's going to be able to go right back in the game.
All right, so Stephen Williams, their starting quarterback, not being looked at. Eric, thank you. So whatever it was with the shoulder, find out. But right now, their defense needs to stop. And whistles fly again.
Brandon Ray.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That is the starting left tackle, Jimmy Sims.
See the shift right there. You know, when you get up and you're in these positions, you have to get set, get your weight on that inside foot, because any movement like that, when you're down and the quarterback's under and got that shotgun snap and you're looking at your center, they're going to throw that immediately.
Now, neither of these teams heavily penalized on the season. In fact, both very good in this category. Not the case so far in the quarter. White, wide open receiver. That's Jernigan on the 1st down reception to the 24-yard line.
Big hit on the outside. Ziminis gets another big shot on Mike White.
3 drives here in the opening quarter for the Hilltoppers, all of them into Old Dominion territory, and they're at the 22-yard line. Pocket collapses. White hit from behind. Boomy Rotimi. And they'll count that as a sack. His 18th of his career.
And this is something that Mike Sanford talked about when you're looking at Mike White. Sometimes he gets so dialed in downfield, knowing and reading everything, that he loses the timing that he has to have as a quarterback.
Now, Rotimi was quoted this week as saying we're all expecting to win. Wasn't guaranteeing a win, but off the 4 straight losses, so they're looking forward to playing Western Kentucky and getting the win. Rotimi, the first to hit Furby, carried a couple of tacklers to the 20, and it'll bring up 3rd and about 8 for Western Kentucky.
They were expecting a lot more out of Furby, but the injuries that he's accounted up, he hasn't been able to bin into the lineup. He hasn't been consistent. So when you go out there and you get your opportunity, you better maximize it because they're not going to wait much longer for you.
Broken collarbone on his first carry last year. Missed all of last season. He's still in there here on this 3rd and 8 for Mike White and the Hilltoppers. Hit from behind, dumps it off. It is Furby, and he's not going to get to the first down marker. Defense coming up to make the stop at the 15, pick up a 5, and it'll bring up 4th down for Western Kentucky.
Boomy Rotimi working one-on-one against Jimmy Sims at that left tackle position, hits him with a nice spin move to the outside and is able to get that last-minute pressure on Mike White to get that ball delivered not as accurately as he wanted to.
They've been in a 7-7 ball game. Western Kentucky's keeping the offense on the field on 4th and 3.
And they got confidence in their group. They're going to spread them out wide, and they're going to get to their receivers.
5 for 11 on 4th down this season. They need the 12. White, pressure, throws it for Furby, and it's dropped. I don't know that he was going to get there anyway, because JoJo Heaton, the freshman corner, was coming up to make the stop. But a big defensive momentum shift for ODU.
We talk about their bookends. Rotimi on the play before gets the pressure, and Ziminis gets the pressure on this one. They're able to get back into it. You see the press, you see the pocket. They're trying to double team, they're trying to chip. He's able to fight through with that extra effort to get that last-minute pressure from Mike White to get the ball out.
What do you think of the decision to go for it on 4th?
Obviously, they said that they're coming in this with a lot of aggressive attitude. They want to get the ball downfield, and they believe in their receivers in the one-on-one matchup. So for them, I'm not surprised. He said, Mike Sanford as the head coach, we're coming in to win this football game, and we know that we need to strike and start fast.
Williams back in after being shaken up on the last series. They went 3 and out on the last series, and he goes right back to the air, and that's caught. Isaiah Harper, their slot receiver, brought down. That's his first completion of the ball game. Williams had only thrown 1 pass before that one. But as the first quarter is going to come to an end, maybe some confidence for the 17-year-old freshman.
Absolutely, he should have confidence. They're moving the football, but now the big thing that they most certainly have to do is continue to lean on the run game so that they're in 3rd and manageables.
The excitement for Old Dominion here at the home field on a Friday night. It's the end of the first quarter, tied at 7. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Start of the second quarter at Foreman Field here at SB Ballard Stadium in Norfolk. Jason Horowitz, David Deal, Eric Coleman on the sideline as we take a look at tonight's quarterback comparison brought to you by Sonic. Mike White on the left, Stephen Williams on the right. Certainly an age gap, a experience gap, and a yardage gap. But ODU's hoping this is the future.
They definitely are. I mean, and that's why he is playing right now. They're hoping that this experience and what he's starting to blend with some of the younger players at not only the running back positions and the backups, but the wide receiver position, that this will be the future and the head leader of this football team.
All right, so 2nd and 5 to open the quarter. And 3 backs, including Lowry. That's the hole, has the first down, and Lowry's still on his feet. Ray Lowry out to the 35-yard line, a 15-yard gain, and a first down for ODU.
What do they always talk about when you're running the zone? The offensive tackle has got to move the defensive end. Great block by Isaac Weaver at the left tackle position to move Derek Overstreet out of there and get that huge gain and get Lowry going. You see that that hamstring is healthy because he is fighting for every yard.
5 carries, 77 yards for Lowry, including a touchdown. Williams keeps it himself and runs right into the defense. Masai White rotates in at linebacker, redshirt junior out of Shelbyville, Kentucky. But again, talking to the coaching staff, they want to see Williams run the football more.
Well, he has the athletic ability, and what does it do? It forces a defense to play 11-on-11 football and not drop back in coverage with everybody, because somebody has to spy and be accountable for him.
Down to Eric Coleman on the sideline.
For 5, 6, 7 seconds, and it makes it extremely difficult while in coverage.
All right, Eric, they're back in coverage here as well. Williams to the air, shows off the arm, and a huge completion. Harper works his way inside the 30, out of bounds at the 27-yard line. 31 on the pickup.
Great job offensively. You bring in Andrew Lawson, and people think that he's just going to be in an online tight end. They actually had him in the fullback position to make sure that he came up and sealed the edges to be able to deliver that ball, and nice recognition by Stephen Williams.
The focal point of our conversation with the offensive staff yesterday, they needed a wide receiver or two to step up, and they were hoping Isaiah Harper would be one of them. Lowry again, inside the 30. And he's quickly approaching 100 yards here in the opening half.
This offensive line for Old Dominion is doing a nice job in the zone running scheme of really stretching these D tackles and these defensive ends and really pushing for these running backs to get to the second level.
Williams keeps it himself, fires it. That's Cox. Breaks a couple of tackles and into the red zone. Jeremy Cox. And another first down for the Monarchs. A late flag inside the 10-yard line. And I wonder, David, if this was on one of the offensive linemen racing downfield to try and catch a late block.
I think they got it on Isaac Weaver, number 71, and we were talking about earlier in the scrum and pushing.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 71. 15-yard penalty from the bad ball spot, first down.
And that's exactly what we talked about. You know, you want to be physical, but keep it inside the whistle, keep it inside the lines, because anytime that you do this and you're building momentum and you come in with that cheap shot, here it is late, you're being selfish and you're costing your team momentum on a drive that's going extremely well for you.
This was a drive that began on their own 15-yard line after Western Kentucky went for it on 4th and 3 instead of taking a field goal opportunity. Lowry turns it upfield, falls forward to the 25. But great poise by Williams on this drive. Lowry had another big run. And again, the throw to Cox, who was their other running back, but they love him in the slot as a receiver.
They love him and Harper in that slot position. They feel like those can be the key matchups. And what do? They're going right back to him and putting him right in the slot.
Lowry with Williams. Cox on the bottom of your screen. He's that middle receiver. Dumps it down to Lowry. Breaks one tackle, and he's got the first down. Out of the tackle of Drell Green. He picked up 9, and they keep the drive moving.
You love seeing this out of Ray Lowry. When we sat down and met with him, we talked to, did you have any doubt? He goes, a little bit, but he goes, I know now that I'm healthy, I can be that downhill punisher again.
He gets it again and hit hard. Joel E.A. Booniway, the tackle. So how about Ray Lowry, 203-pound senior out of Logan Township, New Jersey, headed into the season with 3,338 yards, 7th most active, but an injured hamstring in the opener against Albany. Entering tonight, he's over 3,400 yards, most in school history. But most importantly, he's their most dynamic offensive player.
No question. I mean, he brings it each and every time, and you could tell anytime we talk to any of his teammates, oh, we can't wait, and we're so excited that he's back healthy.
He's got a huge hole and inside the 10.
They are doing a really nice job, once again, at the offensive line position. They're stretching out, they're sealing the backside, and giving these backs a full momentum and a full load to really start delivering blows in the second level.
So 3rd and 2 on the 11th play of the drive for the Monarchs. They scored first tonight. Western Kentucky answered. Cox on the handoff, breaks through. Touchdown, Monarchs! Jeremy Cox, his 3rd touchdown of the season. And ODU back in front.
Real nice double team up front. Tony Barnett, Nick Clark, the left guard, the center, seal it at the line of scrimmage. They're able to get the push, and Lowry once again drives it downhill. See the double teams, singled up. Everybody's covered up, everybody's sealed, and there is a clean lane to get downhill and score another touchdown.
Rice adds the extra point, and Old Dominion playing its best offensive half of the season. Jeremy Cox caps it off, and the Monarchs leading the Hilltoppers by a touchdown. Well, last year, Ray Lowry had 11 touchdowns and more than 1,300 rushing yards. Jeremy Cox had 13 touchdowns and 700 yards, and they combined on that drive to help ODU go 85 yards in 11 plays and take a 14-7 lead here in the second quarter. Jason Horwitz, David Deal, Eric Coleman back with you in Norfolk. A pretty impressive offensive performance so far for the Monarchs.
Yeah, very impressive. And for the Western Kentucky team, this shouldn't be a surprise defensively. You know that they've systematically changed from a spread team in the first and second game, and now have gone a lot of 12 personnel. They've gone to either one or two backs, 22 with two tight ends, or one back, two tight ends. They've changed it systematically so that they can control the line of scrimmage and take a lot of it off of Stephen Williams' plate. So even though Western Kentucky's defense knows they're running the ball, they've yet to be able to stop it.
Eccles Lupo on the return over to the 32-yard line. Now speaking of Rice, Texas A&M on the road, Florida State in the opener. Find out what about the third Saturday in October tomorrow at the 99th meeting between those two teams. Here it's Mike White and a first down throw, and a catch to Cameron Eccles-Looper, goes for 11 yards and a first down for the Hilltoppers.
And this is a player that they said they need to get more involved into this offense. We know that he has got top-class speed, former track runner. They've got to make sure that they get him implemented, not only in the intermediate, but get him some shots.
This is another guy with fast speed, quick twitch. Baker's had a couple of big runs and a 1-yard pickup. For some injury news, back down to Eric Coleman.
Old Dominion starting safety Rob Thompson is out with a quad injury. They're working it out. They're trying to get it stretched out to get him back in the game, and they're hopeful that he will return to the game soon.
And that's big. He's their fifth-year senior. Had an interception a couple weeks ago in the loss to FAU, and he's the one that had the hit earlier in this game on Deion Yelder that for a few plays knocked out Western Kentucky's tight end.
Yeah, and he brought the thunder on that one, but also what did Deion Yelder do? Got up and got his team going. And
there's Yelder again, who dropped the football. Big stick from Denzel Williams, and it's ruled incomplete. And it'll bring up third down.
Denzel Williams has been all over the field today, making tackles, getting penetration into the backfield, making key stops like this one on defense, getting his hat in there and hand in there to get that ball jarred out.
Knocked it out before he made the move, so incomplete. Hilltoppers on the season. Decent on third down. There's Thompson trying to get his defense to get another third down stop, up by 7. Pocket collapses. White dumps it down. Broken tackle. And there goes Nakarius Fant into ODU territory. Say he stepped out around the 40, but a big third down completion to Fant.
Right when I give him credit, now he comes up with the missed tackle. You see right out there, Denzel Williams is one-on-one, doesn't take a proper angle. You always know that you work your hat across, try to get that shoulder on the ball when you're working to the sidelines. Just poor tackling.
Fant, the leading receiver, now with 29 catches on the season. Eccles-Looper, the drop. Well, talking with Coach Sanford, one of the things he said they focus on is targets. They watch the numbers of which players have which amount of targets in game, because they want their playmakers to have X, they want their next best playmaker to have Y, and they've switched it up this season to make sure that Fant and Towner and Eccles-Looper are getting it more often.
Well, coming into the season and throughout the first 4 games, you're looking at Lucky Jackson, who has 41 targets, but only 24 catches, so you know right away you've got to start making adjustments.
8 different players have caught a ball in this game. And Jernigan's got his second catch of the game. That's one of our cameramen down there, but Mike White with another answer on this drive.
You know, they talked about working the seams, getting Jernigan going, and this one is right in your couch at home. The camera guy bounced up.
Baker on the cutback. Yeah, our crew's tough here. They take hits. They keep cameras fine. He's fine.
There's no doubtful. There's no questionable.
Yeah.
We're playing.
And here's it yesterday, making sure we're ready to go. Took the hardest hit of the game. Baker works it to the 16-yard line. Rotimi, and that's Jeff Bigham down there on the sideline who caught that as well. Yeah, thumbs up.
Thumbs up. A-OK.
Have we checked to make sure the camera's still okay, though?
I think he is. He's up and rolling again, and now we've got a key 3rd and 3 right now for the Western Kentucky offense.
Remember, last drive for the Hilltoppers. Got here, faced 4th and 3, went for it, didn't get it. And they pick up the 3rd down. White, quick pass, has the 1st down, and it's inside the 10-yard line. Xavier Lane, a redshirt freshman from Montgomery, Alabama, who they love at 6'4", and he's got a 1st down.
There is a complete breakdown in the coverage. He is wide open on the outside. You could see that they had the little 2-man stack bunch. Easy route, easy combination, easy 1st down.
It's 1st and goal. It's Baker on the handoff. Breaks 1 tackle. Breaks a 2nd tackle. And he stumbles his way down to the 4-yard line. Andre Bernard wrapped him up, but a 6-yard pickup for Quentin Baker.
Baker is showing his shiftiness. You see him being able to bounce in and out of holes, clear vision, taking the football outside. If he keeps his feet on that one, he is going to be inside the 5.
We talked about touches for the receivers. They said they wanted Baker to get 20, 25 touches. He's got 8 carries. This is the 11th play of the drive. That's Jakari Moses. Nowhere on the inside of that ODU defense, and so it'll bring up 3rd and goal for the Hilltoppers, down a touchdown.
Gets his touches. There's the hole, and right through. Zimenez comes up with another key tackle for him.
What's your play here, Deal?
We'll see. They've been running the football inside. They've been running that, but you know this is a pass-first team, so I wouldn't be surprised if they run with a pass.
They sneak Fant into the backfield. And now they send him out wide. White, inside pitch to Yelder into the end zone.
Well, it's a pass, just a shovel pass. Nice play design. You see that they played the stretch. They motion out. Easy inside dump for Yelder to come with a touchdown.
Had the emotion earlier, had a touchdown catch last week, and has a 2nd touchdown catch this week.
Very nice play design. You see that the entire defense stretched out. We're looking for the outside pitch. Got it inside. Clear, easy touchdown. Great call.
So the Hilltoppers answered the Monarchs the 1st time, and they answer the Monarchs again here in the 2nd quarter. Western Kentucky, 68-yard drive, and Deion Yelder caps it off. Tied at 14.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Ram Trucks, proven to last. By Sonic, try the Car Hop Classic, cheeseburger and onion rings for $2.99. By Verizon, the best network and the best unlimited. And by Chase Sapphire Reserve.
Now that is what the new SB Ballard Stadium will look like when they are done with renovations here at Foreman Field, expected to be complete for 2019. This stadium was built in 1936, and it opened when the University of Virginia played what was then known as the College of William and Mary's Norfolk Division, which is now known as Old Dominion. Now on one side here, they've got this brand new wing. It is beautiful, and they will slowly tear it all down and build it back up to look fantastic for what is a program that, David, didn't have football from 1940 until 2009. and had 5 years in the FCS, and here in year 4 in the FBS, and they've been extremely competitive, and last year won 10 games.
And it's completely changed the culture of athletics, but also of the school around here, because everybody's involved, everybody comes to the games, and it's really brought together this community.
And Harper takes it out to the 19-yard line, and again, the timeline here for Old Dominion football, they returned in 2009, that first season in almost 70 years. Then they joined the FBS in 2014 with Conference USA, went 6-6, which is impressive in that transition. And then last season, they finished the year with 8 consecutive wins. They beat Eastern Michigan in the Bahamas Bowl, and that may be the most impressive. They have sold out every home game since that first football game on September 5th, 2009, here in the 757.
We know people in the 757 love football, and with all these high schools surrounding this area, they're hoping that it does something for recruiting as well.
Williams takes off, gets a couple of yards. And talking to some of the players yesterday, and Brandon Addison, who's from Chesapeake, and some of the other guys as well, and Stephen Williams from DC, they said it's a pride. Brandon Addison told us yesterday, growing up in this vicinity in high school, he didn't know about ODU. He didn't even know it was here. Now he said, guys, back in his high school, they want to play for Old Dominion.
And you're playing in front of your family, you're playing in front of everybody you grew up with. So this is a game and a team that you want to play for if you want to shine from the area.
Fulgham makes the catch out to the 26-yard line. Stephen Williams has hit his last 5 passes. 5-yard pickup. Gonna bring up 3rd and 3. Monarchs are 3 for 4 here tonight on 3rd down. Under 5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Here comes the blitz.
And there goes Lowry. Shifty, can he get to the 29? I don't think so. Ray Lowry, who has 95 yards here in this opening half, comes up about a yard short. And so for the second time tonight, Coach Wilder's team faces a 3-and-out.
On that one, it was going to be a run blitz or a pass blitz. They didn't care. There's things as a run blitz because you want to fill those holes in those gaps, because when you're looking at this game tonight against Marshall, they had 81 yards total rushing. And tonight, already rushing yards, they've got 124.
Fant takes the fair catch at the 27-yard line. 45-yard punt, no return. Mike White back when we return. Western Kentucky last year, 45 points per game to lead the nation. Tonight, Mike White has looked like that quarterback again.
He has. You see him getting the ball to Yelder. You see him getting the ball across the middle. 9 different receivers today have caught balls. And one of the biggest things that we're going to have to look for right now is strategy for this offense. And coming out here for this could be their last drive, because 3 out of their 4 drives have been 4-15 plus when it comes to time. But you want to hurry, but you don't want to rush. Good old John Wooden. I love that quote, because it's true. You want to hurry, but when you rush, you start anticipating things. You start reading and going too fast through your progressions. I think they're doing a nice job of getting the ball to the seams, getting the ball to the outside, and Quentin Baker's doing a great job of running the football. 8
carries for 45 yards for the running back. White comes out throwing. That's Towner. And he's got all kinds of speed across midfield, and finally shoved out of bounds by Denzel Williams. Towner marked out at the 45-yard line, but a pickup of 26 for Western Kentucky.
And nice job by Mike White recognizing exactly what they had. They ran a little play action. You see the defense bite up and pause a little bit. Let's get the ball outside and let your playmakers make plays with their feet.
This time it's Baker on the ground. And the hole closes. Tim Ward with the tackle. This is the 5th drive tonight for Mike White and the Hilltoppers. Every single drive has gotten into ODU territory. They had to punt on the opener. The only other time they didn't score, they went for it on 4th and 3 at the 15-yard line.
And they haven't had a 3-and-out this entire game.
It was an offense that before last week this season had really struggled. But 45 points last week, more than 600 yards in the win against Charlotte. White, that's behind the line. Eccles Looper with the pass, and it's Yelder with the catch. Eccles Looper hits the tight end inside the 5.
A little trickery. Ball thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Nice job by Looper coming back to get the football, but that's a great thing when you've got a 6'4", 6'5" tight end that can go up and get the ball. You know you just got to get it into his range. Bodies it up. Gets the ball down right now, it looks like at the 2.
So a 42-yard completion from Cameron Eccles-Looper to Dion Yelder. Check that, make it 39 yards. And that is Brandon Addison, who is down, their best cornerback.
Their best cornerback, their captain. This would be a difficult loss for them at that corner position, knowing how much they've got to rely on their coverage, because if another player goes down, and they're once again Elijah Blue coming in, different players, it's really going to hurt the communication that they've had on the back end.
And remember, Eric Coleman told us earlier that Rob Thompson, their starting free safety, is out with a quad injury. They already came into this game without James Brickhouse, starting cornerback, out with a groin injury. And so the secondary taking all kinds of hits against a Western Kentucky team that's got maybe the best quarterback in Conference USA.
At the worst position they can possibly have the injuries right now.
Elijah Blue, redshirt freshman, is the one who came in for Brandon Addison. Bottom of your screen, it's 1st and goal. It's a run for Furban. He's hit at the 5. Miles Fox with the stick. And it'll bring up 2nd and goal.
Nice job coming up, getting in run support, reading through the lane, and coming up with a key tackle and hold.
Furby stays in the game. Jernigan in motion. White. It's batted up in the air. And it's intercepted. JoJo Heaton, the redshirt freshman from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. His first career interception.
When we talked to Coach Rich Nagy, he said that's been the biggest things that we haven't done this season. In 2016, we forced 23 takeaways. Through this game, we've only had 5. Key stop, key takeaway for this offense, for this defense of Old Dominion, and to give their opportunity to this offense. Granted, they're going to be stuck, they're going to be coming out, but being able to hold up and come away with that takeaway is going to give this defense and this team life.
And David, I don't know if you're 11 years with the Giants or you're 5 years at Illinois, if that ever happened to you. That was not batted down by a defensive lineman. That hit his offensive lineman in the head.
That's never happened to me before.
Media timeout.
Huge takeaway. Tie ball game. Well, Mike White only had 3 interceptions coming into this game. He only had 7 all of last year. This one's a little different. It hits Matt Nord in the head and goes straight up in the air at the 3-yard line.
In 166 plus starts in the NFL, I can honestly say that has never happened to myself or any of the offensive linemen I've ever played with.
That's a 6'4" quarterback, and I guess all you can do is laugh about it on that left sideline, but JoJo Heaton got the interception his first career. And you know, the other part of your Western Kentucky, David, is that's the 2nd time where they've come away with 0 points inside the red zone.
Yeah, they went for it on 4th down. They were unable to come up with it, and now here we go. They were down back in the red zone, and key takeaway.
And poor Matt Nord, he's like, what did I do? So now Stephen Williams, the true freshman in his 4th career start, in a tough spot. Comes up firing on the first play, and he overthrows his receiver. Melvin Vaughn, the intended wideout. And so with 2:09, all 3 timeouts, David, how are you handling this spot here?
That's the thing, that you have to be very delicate in this situation. I would expect that some type of run to get it out of here on 2nd down, because the last thing that you want to be is 3rd and 10 with the ball on the 2 when they still have 3 timeouts left on the other side of the ball.
And no negative plays either.
Absolutely not.
Lowry's in the backfield with Williams on 2nd and 10. Blitz comes. Williams throws it across the middle, and that's picked off. Kyle Bailey, true freshman, back backup safety with his first career interception.
Nice job by Clayton White, the defensive coordinator, Western Kentucky, dials up a blitz. They're able to press, nice coverage on the back end, get him outside of the pocket, and granted, you know that you're trying to get rid of that football, but you see that a coverage is coming from over the top. There's one-on-one. It's a tough throw to make, and it cost him. And those are the situations and those are the decisions that have hurt this football team. And like I said, when it's 2nd and 10, that's not the position that you want to be in, where you're trying to force a throw. Run the football, try to get yourself in a 3rd and manageable, and give yourself an opportunity so that you're not trying to make a play like that.
7th interception thrown this season by Williams. One of the things the coaching staff told us is you're seeing a lot of his teammates pump him up, as he has felt throughout the 4 starts that he has let his team down, and they're trying to get him to forget plays. Baker to the 16-yard line.
And for a team that's kind of been up and down, up tempo, pushing the tempo, Western Kentucky knows they've got the clock on their side. They've got timeouts. They're taking their time with their calls.
You mentioned all 3 timeouts. Mike White off the interception, getting a second chance. Moses powers his way to the 13-yard line. And so that'll bring up 3rd down and about 4 for this Hilltoppers offense that is in the red zone for the 4th time tonight. But just one of their previous 3 trips have found the end zone. Their other touchdown was a 44-yard touchdown pass from Mike White to Jaquez Sloan. Call it 3rd and 5 inside of a minute here in the 2nd quarter. White to the end zone. It's caught! Cameron Eccles-Looper with his helmet flying off. His first touchdown grab of the year. And the Hilltoppers have their first lead of the game.
What a throw by White, but once again, great formation, great call, and nice job by Mike White. He knew where he was going with the football, but he looked it off and then turned his head back to the right in order to get it to Looper.
Now there's a reason NFL scouts have been looking at Mike White. He stuck it right between 2 defenders.
That entire time before that, he's looking left, he's communicating, he's doing it. Great job by Mike White finding the open guy. Great job by Looper going up and getting it and coming down with the touchdown.
Add the extra point, and Western Kentucky with the 7-point lead. The flag flies again. We've had a lot of back and forth, a lot of shoving here in this opening half between these 2 teams. Important game here in Conference USA in the East Division. Hilltoppers 2-1 in conference. Old Dominion coming in 0-2 and on a 4-game skid. We'll check the flag.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense number 11. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
That's Miles Fox. So the interception from Stephen Williams leads to a Western Kentucky 13-yard touchdown. Mike White's 3rd of the game. Cameron Eccles-Looper, grad transfer, played at Arkansas State last year at 26 catches. He had a touchdown, but he just had his first in a Western Kentucky uniform. And after the penalty, Hilltoppers kicking from midfield. Harper races up to grab it at the 9 and gives Stephen Williams some room to work. 49 seconds and 3 timeouts. Coming up, it's the Verizon halftime report. Brent Stover, Brian Jones, Coach Houston Nutt, Christian Fourier. They got you covered on tonight's highlights. Get you prepped for a busy weekend of college football, including 2 matchups, top 25 teams, Michigan, Penn State, USC, and Notre Dame. It's all coming up at the Verizon halftime report. Jason Horowitz, David Deal, Eric Coleman here. And so, David, again, you hit strategy because Stephen Williams, your 17-year-old freshman quarterback, just threw an interception, but you do have 3 timeouts in 49 seconds. You
do, but once again, what are you worried about now? His confidence as a quarterback. You want to be aggressive. You want to get the ball downfield, but also you've got to be smart. You've got to know what you're doing as a player and as a quarterback and what situation you're right now in.
They do go to the air. Melvin Vaughn gets it out past the 30. A flag flew right at the snap. If it stands, it's a first down, but we'll check the marker.
And see, those are the passes that you don't mind. A little screen to your wide receiver, try to see if he can get some yards after the catch. Let him make a man miss. Those are fine, but once you start trying to risk it and shooting it.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal formation, offense, that penalty is declined. Holding, offense number 71. The 10-yard penalty be assessed, first down.
And that's Isaac Weaver, the redshirt freshman, starting left tackle.
His second penalty of the day.
Yeah. So now how does this change your strategy?
Well, right now, Coach Sanford on the other side is taking a timeout. He wants to stop the clock.
Yeah.
Smart move.
35-year-old first-year head coach. Took over for Coach Brom here at Western Kentucky, who left for Purdue. As we take a look at the AP poll powered by Ram Trucks. Get number 1 Alabama tomorrow, taking on Tennessee at home. How about the 5-0 Miami Hurricanes? Couple of late game heroics, but how about the Orange off of last week's upset against Clemson?
I know you were very excited about your alma mater getting a big win, I'm sure. But I mean, look at that Penn State game. Obviously, that one against Michigan is going to be huge, considering the fact that next week they're at Ohio State, the following week they're at Michigan State. So they're pumped up for a whiteout.
And 3, you mentioned Ohio State. They are one of the 3 teams in the top 10 that does not play this weekend, including Clemson. They need to get Kelly Bryant back because he left that Syracuse game with an injury. Here it's 21-14, and you mentioned that strategy. Now he takes that timeout, but David, because of the penalty and only 42 seconds, if ODU wanted to, they could run the clock out by taking knees.
But you can obviously see that is not what they're going for. They don't want to concede. They don't want to do that. Get the ball on the ground and get into the second half.
You give it to Lowry. He's had a huge impact in the first half. And again, Coach Sanford takes the timeout. Second down and about 21. But now only 1 timeout left for Western Kentucky.
That's their second, 32nd.
But to your point, aggressive play, even if they don't get the ball. Talking to Coach Sanford yesterday about his Hilltoppers team. Started off the season 1-2. They lost at your alma mater, Illinois, in week 2, 20-7. He said the attitude, the mindset had to change. They had to find out who was going to be a playmaker, who was going to play well when the lights were on, particularly on offense, because he knew his defense had been there. And that's been the case here tonight.
But not only that, but figure as a coach, what is your job? Your job is to put players in positions of their strength to win. And right now as a staff, you go through spring ball, and like you said, when you turn on the lights, there's some players that are great practice players, but when you get them in this, they don't transfer what they didn't practice to the game. And they're really trying to identify who are the future players. We've seen them change wide receiver personnel based upon who they thought were going to be the one, but they weren't the one. Now they're the 2 or the primary possession receiver.
Cox looking for the hole. Instead he meets Jalen George, 6'3", 275-pound defensive lineman. And that's the final timeout taken by Western Kentucky.
Timeout Western Kentucky. That's their third 30-second timeout.
And so barring a fumble here, they won't get the ball back with only 27 seconds to go in the half. What do you make of this first half for Old Dominion? 4 straight losses coming into the game. They've really struggled to put points on the board this year at 17 a game, but they have moved the football here in the first half.
They have, but once again, what are the things? The mistakes, the penalties, negative plays, and for that last one, Stephen Williams coming up with an interception again. And you look back at when they played FAU here, 2 of his 4 picks were ones that were tipped by other defensive backs or their receivers that didn't catch the ball. So coming into the second half, you know that what was their recipe for success? Rely on the ground game, get your 2 running backs going, and then start working your shots off of play action to protect him as a quarterback.
And they will get the ball to start the second half because Western Kentucky won the opening coin toss. So barring a penalty or a fumble, this is the final play of the half. Jeremy Cox, maybe just trying to set the tone. Carrying defenders out to the 28-yard line. And the official on the far side of the field had stopped the clock for a moment thinking it was a first down, but it was 3rd and 20. And so now they keep it winding, and that's going to take us to halftime. And so Mike White and his 3 touchdown passes in this opening half will take the Hilltoppers into the locker room here in Norfolk, up 21-14 on a Monarchs team that has played well, but has given up 300 yards in the opening half. It's the end of the first 30 minutes. Western Kentucky leading Old Dominion 21-14. It's back to the studio when we return. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico.
You are watching the Verizon Halftime Report on CBS Sports Network.
Welcome in. We're in New York. It's the Verizon Halftime Report, 21-14. Brent Stover, Houston Nutt, Christian Fourier, Brian Jones. What stands out so far?
Old Dominion running the football. Ray Lowry up and down the field. He's had 11 touches, got about 95 yards so far. Look at the blocking right here. Excellent job by Old Dominion right here. Little hand sweep right here. Got a little pull. They get in front of him just enough to get the second level. Let's roll.
What's the defensive lineman? He's got his head buried in the offensive lineman's chest. How's he going to find the ball?
Well, that's why you got to give it to this guy. We're going to give it to him again and let him score.
Airborne there.
It looks like Maurice Jones-Drew. Got a little Maurice MJD.
Little sway back. He does. What do you have?
You know what? I think you should adopt this next guy, Stover. This seems like the next gunslinger. Mike White is doing it all, padding his NFL resume. We talk about Stover loves these guys that just chuck the ball down the field. I mean, so far he's 15-21, 203 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 pick. So he's soaring up there. He's allowing his receivers to go up there and get the football. Here's one of his touchdowns. That's a shovel pass. That shouldn't technically count. Right. But I like the creativity that they're showing so far.
And, Coach, you know I like it when guys are out there directing traffic.
Right.
Hey, go get him. Go, you know.
That's why he's
freelancing like you.
Well, I like some good defense, and we said coming into this ball game, Old Dominion, they are one of the tops in the nation in terms of sacks, and they've had a sack, at least 1 in each and every ball game. Have 1 tonight. They need a lot more. They got 4 tackles for loss, but you still see that Mike White has 3 touchdowns he's posted on the board.
What about the crowd?
I love it.
The crowd. You always talk about the crowd?
No.
They showed up at Old Dominion.
No, Norfolk. I got a good buddy who lives there, and he said, you watch. It's always a good atmosphere there. As Western Kentucky trying to get to 5-2, 3-1 in conference, but it's going to be an interesting second half. Up next on the Verizon Halftime Report, we preview tonight's Air Force Nevada matchup right here on CBS Sports Network. Who do the guys like in this one and why? Find out next. Oh, welcome back. Mike White's been slinging it. This is a Cam Eccles-Looper. Eccles-Looper also completed a 39-yard pass.
Look at that weird guy. Mike White's your guy now. Nice hair.
He is. He's a gunslinger. He's a swashbuckler. All right, up next, after this game, we're looking forward to Air Force taking on Nevada, 9:30 Eastern, back end of our Friday night doubleheader. BJ, when you look at Air Force and you look at Nevada, we're talking about the Falcons. They're flying high, having erased a 27-0 deficit last week against UNLV, marking the second largest comeback in school history. They own the top scoring offense in the Mountain West. Just keep agreeing with me.
Right. I agree with you.
Averaging 36 a game. That offense led by quarterback Ariana Wilson.
Make it plain.
Who's thrown for 8 scores and ran for 10 more, 5 of which came in that UNLV game.
I was going to share that, but you go ahead.
Nevada has struggled this season, losing 6 of their first 7. The good news for the Wolfpack, they have 2 of the best receivers in the conference. McLean Mannix and Wyatt Demps have combined for over 1,000 yards and 12 scores.
Pass the collection plate. I'm ready to give.
You're usually the guy taking a couple out of the collection plate.
I have done that before, yeah.
What do you think of the matchup?
In meeker times, yes. I look at this Air Force offense, and it starts with Worthman, of course, and 8 touchdowns through the air. And we saw him versus Navy really chunk it around and make some hay with it. But Ronald Cleveland is this guy, man. This guy's listed as a wide receiver, but he has 22 rushes, a couple of touchdowns. He only had 7 receptions, but those receptions, he's averaging 28 yards per reception. So I think that's going to be his go-to guy. They need to score a lot of points because their defense is giving up about 40 a game. I'm going to pick Air Force in this one.
I'm with you. Yeah. Just because of that defense. Offensively, they can move the football up and down the field. And to come back from a 27-point deficit shows a lot because they can run the football. They lead the Mountain West, as you mentioned, all those stats. They lead the Mountain West. And also pass efficiency, lead the Mountain West. They lead just about every category.
I will say Nevada, however, got their first win against Hawaii a couple weeks ago. Almost beat Colorado State. They couldn't make a field goal. It had a 4th and 11. They couldn't convert. But their offense is on point right now. They are chucking it down the field. The first time since 2012 where they have had back-to-back 550-plus yard games. They have 11 touchdowns in the last 2 games, 9 through the air. So they're chucking it. So, and listen, 1 win. So what do they have to lose? They're just trying to get better.
So you taking Nevada?
No. Taking Air Force.
Wow. They're both 1 and 2.
You got to give some love to the other team. You guys just hating on everybody.
No, I'm not hating on them. We were supposed to pick, but you do you.
More to come on the Verizon.
Switch my pick.
On the Verizon halftime report, this scintillating.
There's a guy that I work with on Tuesdays that does that.
Yeah, is
both sides of the fence, Coach.
It's an Aaron Taylor special. More to come. Best team in Conference USA is Marshall taking on Middle Tennessee. This is Tyler King.
Oh, Tyler King says, Krabby, scoot. Look at those moves. And Nick, the block by the wide receiver. Oh, man.
Coach, but John Urzua gets picked off by Artis Johnson.
Urzua and Artis Johnson, good job right here by the defense. There's nothing like a defense scoring points.
Nothing like a celebrated locker room.
That's another coach. He does some great Coach Nutt impressions. At the mercy of Coach
Crispy fries.
14-3 is the lead there. The Thundering Herd trying to get to 3-0 in the conference, and they lead the East. North Texas 3-0.
Look at that, Seth Luttrell.
West.
And the Mean Green.
So what conference you going to, and who specifically, BJ, when we're talking about the best group of 5 team right now?
Well, I think you have to, with San Diego State getting beat down by Boise like they were last weekend, you got to look to the AAC and USF and UCF, and both of those are scheduled to meet later in November. And if they're sitting there unscathed, I think it's going to be one of those 2.
How about you, Christian?
I'm going with UCF specifically. I know BJ was kind of on the fence. You got to take either one of them.
No, I'm going to go UCF.
Sure. Okay, you're going to take UCF?
No.
All right, good.
I'm not going to do it.
You're kidding on me about football, but you're not even taking a guy.
No.
Scott Frost, UCF, Mackenzie Milton. I like it, Coach.
50 points a game. I'm with both of you guys. University of Central Florida looks really tough on both sides of football.
That's going to be a great game. I mean, no discounting Quentin Flowers and that D-line for USF. Dynamite.
And that one's coming 24. Up in November. But hold on, UCF's got to play Navy
don't forget
here.
About Navy.
That's a great game at 3:30 on our air.
Scott Frost, he's running the option all week.
Right.
I want to be
team
sore.
Quarterback.
He may be sore a little bit.
Yeah. He's not going to be able to call in personnel.
He looked pretty good running, though.
He did. He looked great, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Man,
Brian Jones. Brian, go watch the Yankees.
Say goodnight.
We'll cover
Say
the rest
goodnight
of the
to Brian.
night.
We got it.
You got this? You sure?
We're good.
All right. Let's go, Yankees.
Enjoy the second half from Norfolk coming up after the break.
This has been the Verizon Halftime Report. Watch live, local, and primetime games with NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
Choosing a college is a major decision.
So why did I choose WKU?
Because at WKU, professors are experts in their field.
I'm encouraged to study abroad
and make the whole world my classroom.
And where I get real-world experience.
Doing exactly what I want to do.
And where I have all the tools I need to prepare for a successful future.
It's all within my reach at Western Kentucky University.
Very entertaining first half here in Norfolk as we get set for the start of the 3rd quarter. Western Kentucky leading Old Dominion 21-14. All right, welcome back here inside Tidewater. Jason Horowitz alongside 2-time Super Bowl champ David Deal. Get back to Eric Coleman in a second. And David, we came into this game talking about both these teams looking to find their offensive identities from years past. They have. The difference is Old Dominion's defense hasn't been able to find a stop.
No, that's the biggest thing when you're looking at the plays. 41 for Western Kentucky offensively, 21 for Old Dominion. So you're looking at that, and then you're thinking, well, defensively, they came away with a takeaway for Old Dominion. 2 plays later, Stephen Williams gave the ball right back. So in this second half, defensively, they've got to make sure they come up with a stop or another takeaway to help this offense, because if they're going to get into a shootout, offensively, weapon-wise, Old Dominion does not have that type of caliber.
Let's take a look at the Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans first half stats and passing yards, all with Mike White, who's got 3 touchdowns in the first half. And the time of possession, that's the other part. You were talking about the amount of plays. Time of possession's been a big deal here in this game.
It sure has. And the other big thing that we are talking about here is the 2 for 4. Western Kentucky offensively have been down into the red zone 4 times, but have only scored twice. So it's going to be a very, very important time that they're not settling just for field goals and they continue to put touchdowns up.
Harper on the opening return of the third quarter, and Isaiah Harper gives the Monarchs a spark to start the third quarter as we go downstairs to Eric Coleman.
Talking to Western Kentucky coach Mike Sanford, he loved the way they moved the ball in the first half, both running and passing the ball. He thought they needed to do a better job of finishing in the red zone, and he took the blame for some of that with the play calling. In the second half, he said that he wants to stop Ray Lowry. He's doing a great job of running the football. They must stop him. Talking to Old Dominion, Coach Wilder said that they must ride Ray Lowry. They must run the football well, and they got to do a better job of getting to the quarterback.
And Ray Lowry, 11 carries, 93 yards and a touchdown in the opening half. He hits the opening play of the second half and barrels forward for a couple of yards. Heath Wiggins made the tackle. Remember, Lowry tore his hamstring in the opening game against Albany. This was the running back coming into the season that was the 7th active leading rusher in all of the FBS. So they've been missing his production. As tonight they've gotten it back.
Rushed for 1,200 yards last season, which were the most in Old Dominion's history for a single season. And that hamstring really hampered him. And now we're seeing him explosive and fully healthy.
And there's Cox, the other running back who had a touchdown in the first half. Takes it out to midfield and has a first down. And this was the offensive play, and this was the first play from scrimmage for ODU that went for 53 yards.
It set the tempo right away up front, not only for this football team, but for the offensive line. Controlling the line of scrimmage, moving the defensive ends into tackles, getting double teams, and really doing a nice job of letting their running backs get to the second level and pick holes up front.
On first down, Lowry picks his hole, maybe 3. Deshaun Bertram, the 5th-year senior linebacker, bringing him down. Played a lot of football, has Bertram for Western Kentucky. This just his 3rd start of his career. But again, this might be what they have to do because Western Kentucky has had quick strike offense. Old Dominion's got to run the football with Stephen Williams.
Yes, they do, and this is an opportunity where they might be able to take a shot downfield for themselves.
It's Cox again. Cuts it back, across the 40. And a flag flies late. Jeremy Cox down at the 37-yard line. We'll check the flag, and looks like it's coming back.
Holding, offense number 9. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, second down.
That's Melvin Vaughn, their wide receiver. Last year at tight end, 270 pounds. Dropped 40 pounds out in space with the nickel corner to Clarion Darden.
Anytime you see that left hand out of the framework, when your feet get beat and you're reaching and grabbing, it doesn't matter whether you're inside at the offensive line position or at the wide receiver. It's an easy flag to throw.
On the season, Old Dominion only penalized about 36 yards per game. That is the 6th penalty on the Monarchs. Williams complete to the 45. Vaughn gets some of that back to the 43, but it'll bring up 3rd down and about 4.
And that's where you see the crispness. Right away, Stephen Williams knows where he's going with that football, delivers it accurately, and gets the ball out of his hands. It's when he's in that indecision, rolling out, scrambling, a little bit of coverage, that's where he starts to get tied up. But right here to start, a 3rd and 4, 3rd and manageable, gives them offensively, schematically, a lot of options.
Just 42% completion coming into this game for a quarterback making his 4th career start. Tonight he's 6 of 9,
timeout.
And ODU takes a timeout.
That's their first.
It's an important 3rd down for head coach Bobby Wilder. Let's get an eye on college football, brought to you by Chase Sapphire Reserve. Picture of what's going on this weekend. Penn State and Michigan. And, USC taking on Notre Dame in a matchup of top 25 teams. Then tomorrow, 3:30, right here on CBS Sports Network. 20th ranked UCF taking on Navy. The Knights 5-0, have never been 6-0.
Well, head coach Scott Frost got his quarterbacking skills back in, going up against the Navy team, running the triple option. The head coach played the scout team option quarterback this week during practice.
Talked to him on our radio show this week, and he said, "Hey, did you take hits?" He's like, no pats.
I'm sure he iced up after, that's for sure.
3rd and 4 out of the timeout for Old Dominion. Williams complete to Vaughn. He's got a first down. driven down at the 33-yard line. Darden made the stop. It's a 10-yard pickup for Williams.
It's great to see Vaughn catch it. You know, this wide receiving core has got to do a better job, and they've been doing a better job today of securing catches, especially on third down, because if you look at the way that Williams has played, he's delivered it accurately at times, but his receivers haven't helped him out.
Keeps it on first down. The toss out into the flat. Kevin Todd, the walk-on redshirt freshman who last week made his first career catch, makes a big one here in the third quarter, and it's another first down.
They said they're excited about getting him his opportunities because he earned them, the way that he practiced, the way that he's playing. And this is a connection that can go together for a long time with the redshirt freshman and Kevin Todd and Stephen Williams, the 17-year-old quarterback.
Opening drive of the third quarter, ODU close to the red zone. Lowry gets the handoff and to the 20, and with that carry, he is over 100 yards. That is the 19th career game of over 100 yards rushing for Ray Lowry. What do you think of this tempo, this pace for this Old Dominion offense?
I think it's much different than anything that we've seen. They've got confidence in their group. You see that right away. They're getting the run game going, which was successful in the opening drive and in the first half. But now it's about finishing the drive, being smart with the decisions you make with the football, and capitalizing on this opportunity.
Williams pulls it right up the middle, takes off, and rolls over a couple of defenders to the 13-yard line.
Good mesh. Sees the defensive end overstreet outside, reads the running back, and takes his eyes off of him at the quarterback position. Smart job tucking away and getting the game.
I think they marked him a yard back of where he was, because he was on the back of a defender before he rolled over. But they've got him at the 14 on a 3rd and 2. Blitz comes, Lowry into space. Second touchdown of the game for Lowry. Great opening drive for the Monarchs, and it's a 14-yard score.
Once again, what did we talk about when you're running that inside zone? What's crucial? Right tackle. Move the defensive end, get him outside. Chad Hendricks, great job at the point of attack. The minute he gets that hook and gets that seal, it is a clear lane for Lowry to get downhill and come away with another touchdown.
They have missed Lowry, but tonight 115 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Nick Rice to tie it, and we're knotted at 21. The senior running back paying dividends for the freshman quarterback. And we're tied at 21 here in Norfolk. Jason Horwitz, David Deal, and Eric Coleman back with you here at Old Dominion, where the Monarchs just capped off a 10-play, 61-yard drive with Ray Lowry's 14-yard touchdown run, his second of the game. And David, out of the locker room for a team that had just given up back-to-back touchdowns to Western Kentucky before the end of the first half, that was pretty impressive.
It was. When you look at those 10 plays, 7 runs, 3 passes, nice blend of it. But the thing that you continue to see now when they're having the run game going, Stephen Williams getting his confidence. And that, what do you think now? Defensively for the Old Dominion team, you've got to come away with a stop. You've got to come away with a takeaway and try to nullify any type of momentum that this Western Kentucky offense can get here right now to start the second half.
And this is a spot that the Hilltoppers hope for momentum throughout the season, because Kylan Towner is back deep to receive. He is one of the all-time greats, but nobody's kicking into him this season, and they don't here either. Cameron Eccles-Looper bringing it out from the 5, and he'll go down at the 26-yard line. After a 21 here tonight, neither team able to get ahead by more than a touchdown. ODU first, Western Kentucky answered. Western Kentucky the last touchdown before the half, and that's a fumble. The second turnover of the game, except Yelder might have gotten it back.
He did.
Now he lost it in the scrum. It's Monarchs football. Pat Toll Jr., the 315-pound defensive tackle with the fumble recovery, and the Monarchs are set up in the red zone.
And that is exactly what we talked about here to start the second half. They had to come away with a stop or a takeaway. Nice job by Zimenez getting that ball out, ripping, stripping it. And when you're looking at that ball rolling around, I know that your first opportunity to think is scoop and score, but in this position, just make sure you get on the football. Great job fighting through the scrumming, making sure they got the recovery.
That's Brandon Addison, captain of the defense, their best cornerback. And what did he tell us yesterday? Last week they lost 35-3 to Marshall. He said the players asked to have a padded practice on Sunday and hit on Tuesday.
They have a unity council, which is the top 15 captains and leaders of the football team, and they said, we want pads, we need pads. That's what we're going to do to turn things around here.
Now we're going backwards. Bertram made the hit. So a loss of 3 on first down.
Made an adjustment. They're going a little bit 3-by-1, and once again, what are they doing? They're trying to use Jeremy Cox in this slot position.
Again, it's Lowry, and again he's stacked up. Chris Johnson throws him to the turf.
What kills the zone running scheme? Penetration by the D lineman. A running back has nowhere to go, tries bouncing it outside. If he sees color front side, he's going to try to cut it backside right into where the flow of the defense comes from.
And that's Quentin Baker. The fumble, will it cost his team? He's had issues with fumbles this season. That's why he's missed some time, and they've had to change their carries. Hilltoppers bring 5. Williams to the end zone, just over the arms. He had Melvin Vaughn behind the defense, and Williams just missed him.
That was the opportunity. That was the look that they needed. They added on a blitz a little bit late. There was some pressure in his face, but that's one that you know as a quarterback that you've got to put that ball on the money. Just don't try to do too much with it. Just go out and put it where your big wide receiver, Melvin Vaughn, can go up and get it.
So the defense bails out Quentin Baker, and Nick Rice will line up for a 38-yard field goal attempt. True freshman on the season is 4 of 5 on the year. This to give the Monarchs the lead. And he's got it. Old Dominion capitalizes on the turnover, but it's just 3. And we got a great ball game here on Friday night. Sunday night at 6 Eastern, the steel gates fly open for the most unpredictable 8 seconds in sports when riders get one last chance to rack up points before heading into the World Finals. It's the PBR Built Ford Tough Series. Cooper Tires, take the money and ride. Only on CBS Sports Network.
Last year, myself, Chris Sneeze, Sean O'Hara, Kareem McKenzie, we had a O-line reunion at the PBR at Madison Square Garden. It was one of the most fun nights we've ever had together.
Who got on the bull?
Nobody. We were trying to get Soybert to get on it because he's the Wisconsin guy and all that, but nobody got on the bull, but it was we had a blast.
Why is Wisconsin known for rodeo?
Well, no, they're not, but figure I'm from Chicago, Sean's from New Jersey, Kareem's from Philadelphia. Like, he was the only one that grew up on a farm.
Deep kick to Eccles Looper, bringing it out of the end zone. And he's got a seam out past the 30. And Eccles Looper brings it out to the 37-yard line, where Western Kentucky will take over. Now, coming into this game, Western Kentucky had not had issues with turnovers, just 6 on the season. But Mike White bounced one off his offensive lineman's head. That didn't lead to any issues because they got an interception 2 plays later. But the fumble by Quentin Baker a couple of moments ago led to an Old Dominion field goal, and this the 24-21 lead.
And this is where I think that this could possibly be the turning point and the turning play for this football game, because to only come up with 3 and for a young quarterback to miss an open throw like that, now if Western Kentucky comes back and puts a touchdown on the board, it's going to put a lot of pressure on them to score immediately and not just hold up for 3, because in a long-term game like this, you can't go for a shootout.
White to the air, open receiver and a tiptoe grab. Xavier Lane makes his second catch of the ball game. 17-yard pickup.
Great job by Mike White, going through all his progressions, reading from right, 1, 2, 3, getting it back for Xavier Lane.
Well, the cornerback didn't get hands on the #1 receiver, and that's called the honey hole, that space in between the flat and the safety in that cover 2 coverage.
Eric, thank you. They go right back to the same receiver. That's Lane. And Heaton pushes him out of bounds. 6-yard pickup.
And they're starting to give that a little bit of off coverage. They're giving him a lot of space at the line of scrimmage. And right now it looks like they're going after JoJo Heaton at that corner position.
He's the redshirt freshman. He's making his first career start with James Brickhouse out. They go after the same spot. It's over Lane, and Williams escorted him semi-kindly to the barrier.
Yeah, they were going with the out and up and thought that they'd be able to give him over, but nice job by Williams coming over the top.
And if you notice, Heaton did a great job of getting hands on the receiver. That allowed the safety to have time to come over and break up the play. Great job.
And a false start on 3rd and 4.
False start. Offense number 69. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Get momentum. You're here in a 3rd and manageable. And once again, another offensive false start. He had the ball hit him in the back of the head for an interception. You can't blame him for that one. But this one you can. You've got to be focused and dialed in.
You hope for Matt Nord he's got a good sense of humor, because you get the feeling that play will be seen everywhere. Not the false start, the head interception.
Yes, it will be.
It's 3rd and 9. Two-time Conference USA defending champs down by 3. White hit, fumbles, and the ball's loose. 3rd sack of the ball game for Old Dominion. Miles Pate recovered it, but it's O'Shane Ziminis with the sack.
You got Big Pat Toll getting that pressure in the middle, squeezing the bottom of the pocket, going over, and then Ziminis coming over the top, reaching, getting that strip, and he is absolutely explosive. Meeting at the quarterback with Toll, getting a big hit on Mike White, and they almost came away with another takeaway for them defensively, which would have been their 3rd on the day.
They told us yesterday they must force him to move out of the pocket. The hits will come, but we have to move him off his spot or we have no chance, and they've started to do that.
They have 2 takeaways. That could have been their 3rd. When coming into this football game, they've had 5 the entire season.
So Jake Collins, good punter for Western Kentucky on the Ray Guy watch list, has nailed 12 inside the 20 this season. And Darrell Brown waits for a fair catch. And so that's number 13. That'll be inside the 20, and a flag flew late. Now, Old Dominion's been whistled for 6 penalties accepted tonight. And I think this is going to be number 7.
It's a big discussion right now.
Holding by the receiving team, number 83. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down.
And that's Jake Herslow, redshirt freshman wide receiver. Very good special teams player. Old Dominion tried to snap a 4-game skid and up 3. And let's take a look at tonight's Geico difference makers. And for Western Kentucky, it's 5th-year senior quarterback Mike White, who has completed 17 of 24 for 3 touchdowns. He does have an interception as well. But then for Old Dominion, Ray Lowry came back last week from tearing his hamstring in the opener, played a little bit against Marshall. But David Deal, he has been an enormous difference maker for this Monarchs offense.
He absolutely has. The inside-outside zones, the physical presence, running downhill, getting those yards after contact. And it's just very interesting to see the way that Western Kentucky has been playing in this game with 24 passing attempts and 21 runs. They've never had that balance.
Now, they've struggled to run the football this season. They've had some success tonight. Old Dominion has scored 24. And this time it's Lowry again. Western Kentucky's offense, which has been the staple the last few years, last 2 seasons winning Conference USA's championship game, they paced the country last year 45 points a game. People forget the defense was #1 in scoring in Conference USA as well. And into tonight, Western Kentucky defense, top 20 defense, 18 points allowed a game. This is the most they've allowed all season.
And they haven't still been able to come away with that big sack, that big play, because coming into this one, they've only had 6.
Williams got the pocket, fires to the outside, it's got a completion. Isaiah Harper's got the 1st down, working on the freshman corner, Roger Cray.
We talked about Roger Craig coming into this one as a starter with their best corner, Joe Brown, being out. You see him backpedaling, playing off coverage, not able to get his foot back into the ground and break downhill on the ball. And nice catch by Harper at the sideline.
Williams has been very impressive. Bouncing back from the interception at the end of the second quarter, which gave Western Kentucky the lead. 2-yard pickup on first down. But, David, that's the other question tonight coming in. Talking to the coaching staff, talking to Stephen Williams yesterday, they said they took away half the playbook.
Yeah, they took away half the playbook. They took a lot of those run-pass options out of it to simplify it. Play calls, protection up front. Nick Clark is the one calling the protections, identifying the mic. And you see that it's just allowing Stephen Williams to not think and just react and play football, and it's paying off with the ground game.
Back to pass here on 2nd and 8. Takes a shot, has a completion. Kevin Todd Jr. with his second grab of the game. 16 yards and a first down.
Great job getting through everything. You see Stephen Williams looking right, going through his progressions, buying himself a little bit of time, moving off of the mark, and hitting Kevin Todd right where it needed to be.
They said they had to find their playmakers. They didn't care if they're walk-ons or scholarship players. Todd's a walk-on, and he's got 2 catches in the second half. Williams pulls it on 1st and 10, and he slides. That's not the move of a 17-year-old. That's a veteran.
Is smart enough not to take that hit, definitely, but you see the inside. You see the little zone read. He reads that the defensive end crashes and is able to take it outside to the one-on-one. But smart move. He knows that he's not going to be able to get outside of that, inside contained for the defense coming over. Get the gain, get down, and live for 2nd down.
Stephen Williams has 7 carries tonight. That's what they wanted. More times with their quarterback running the football. This time it's Lowry for 1. And it'll bring up 3rd down. But they've been in 3rd and manageable all night.
And that's been huge for their football team because, once again, you're not putting him in a set where he has to be in 7 max protection drops where you're trying to get the ball extremely downfield to where they've been in those 3rd and 10 pluses. And that's where they've had a lot of issues in protection. They've thrown those 50-50 balls that have been intercepted. So when you're in this 3rd and manageable and you can do what they're doing offensively, it puts a lot less on Williams' plate.
That's Jamonte Jackson in motion. Backup running back. He's got an open receiver. It's Vaughn across midfield. Finally brought down at the 49. And Stephen Williams now 11 of 15 in this ball game for a quarterback that was completing 42% in his first 3 career starts.
And they did a nice job with the motion. Make the defense think for a little bit instead of reacting. Are they going to run a jet sweep? Are they going to go and let Vaughn work the middle of the field with his big body?
They run the option, the pitch. And Cox does a good job just to catch that with one hand and get out of bounds. Play that didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, and I know that you're trying to change up things offensively, but you've done a much better job when you've been running the inside zone read to force it on the defensive end where they don't have another player collapsing on the outside.
Old Dominion coming into this game off of an 81-yard rushing performance last week against Marshall. Approaching 200 tonight against Western Kentucky. The handoff to Cox. Hops over 1. Brought down by Jeremy Darvin, redshirt freshman defensive tackle. And that'll bring up 3rd and 7 in Western Kentucky territory with 2:25 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Old Dominion having all 10 points here in the 3rd quarter. Clayton White, defensive coordinator for the Hilltoppers, coming from 4 years at NC State.
3-by-1 offensively, 3 receivers at the top of the screen, the only one at the bottom, Kevin Todd.
And it's Lowry bursting through the middle, and he's gone. 46 yards to the house.
Great call offensively by Brian Scott. You show 3-by-1. You show that you only have 1 back. They widen out the entire defense on the side of the ball for the Hilltoppers. You know when they're running a 4-2-5, they've only got 2 linebackers in the middle that are more coverage guys, and they're worried about it. Wide open hole, cut off by the backside of Chad Hendricks. Wide open rushing lane for Ray Lowry to get his 3rd touchdown of the day.
161 yards, 3 scores. Rice to add the extra point. A 10-win team ago. Old Dominion thought it could get back there. And offensively tonight, they've returned to last year's form. It's 31-21. Monarchs have the lead. Ray Lowry returned from a torn hamstring last week against Marshall, but said he wasn't going to put it into high gear until today. And high gear has been 161 yards and 3 touchdowns.
It sure has. He's been doing it on the ground. He's had open holes. He's run through people. He's run through arm tackles. He's gotten the gritty yards. But he has shown today that he is still that explosive player that he was last season, that really the hamstring that he had earlier has set him back. And when you look at that, 161 yards for him, and as a group, they have 237 rushing. Last year as a team, when they had gains of less than 170 yards rushing, they were 0-3. When they had over 170 yards rushing, they were 10-0.
And a low-line driver to try and surprise Western Kentucky. And White pounces on it at the 41-yard line. So what does Western Kentucky have to do to get back into this ballgame and get the rhythm that they had in the first half? When, David, they gained 320 yards.
They do, but right up front, number one, they have to have positive gains on 1st and 2nd downs. They've got to protect the football, but they've got to make sure they get their ball down the seams, still take their calculated shots, and spread the football around. And the one thing that you do not want to do is, even though you're down, even though you're in this position, you know that offensively you can put up numbers as long as everybody individually does their job.
So on 1st and 10. Pocket collapses. White in trouble, and down he goes. Tim Ward with the sack, the 3rd of the night for the Monarchs, and a huge loss all the way back to the 31-yard line, a 10-yard loss.
That's a 10-yard loss, and coming into this game, they have 3 today. They've had 18 on the season, and this is one as Mike White. You know, you see downfield, there's nobody open. That clock in your head that we saw earlier where you took a sack, you have to get rid of the football.
Now, Mike White was having his way with the ODU defense in the first half. All 5 drives into the Monarchs' territory. They have gotten after him here in the second half. Pressure again. Makes a move and short till Eccles Looper. Well, he just doesn't look the same.
No, he doesn't. And look at where they're playing. It was 2nd and 20, and now it's 3rd and 20. So you're playing behind the chains, and nice rush by Daniel Pooh on the outside, making sure that they got that pressure, and he almost had another back-to-back sack.
Simmons has one. Ward has one. Rotimi and Toll have shared a sack. Huge play here for Western Kentucky. Facing 3rd and 20. They need the 49. White's flushed again. Fires. It's short. Jernigan, the intended receiver, but White on the run, couldn't get comfortable. And a 3-and-out for the Hilltoppers.
That sack completely changed their momentum in this game and allowed them to make the short and intermediate passes, but they didn't have that. So now when you're working up against 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20, the protection isn't holding up front right now, and you see a quarterback that's trying to move out of the pocket, and his balls are thrown right into the turf.
Collins, the boot. Brown takes it at the 21. And Darryl Brown picks up about 5 on the return. And that's where ODU will take over. Sunday, it's an NFL doubleheader. First, Cam Newton and the Panthers battle the Bears and their rookie quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. That is the Bengals taking on their AFC North rivals. It's the Steelers off the win against Kansas City. It all begins with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines at noon Eastern. JB and the gang will have you covered, getting you up till kickoff. And, well, you know, there's a lot of guys there, including Chicago and Pittsburgh and all over the NFL from this area, right? The Norfolk area, they call it the 7 Cities, the 757. John Fox was born in Virginia Beach, son of a Navy SEAL. Mike Tomlin in Newport News, just about 15 minutes away from here, and played at William & Mary. And all over the country, you see big-time athletes who have come from this area.
I played with Plaxico Burress, Virginia Beach, Ike Hilliard, Virginia Beach. So I played with a lot of these guys, and they have a lot of pride from where they came from and where they're at.
Allen Iverson, Alonzo Mourning from this area as well.
Allen Iverson running that option. He was a quarterback
yes,
in high
he was.
school.
Speaking of that, so too were the Vicks. That is Derek Overstreet for Western Kentucky. He is their best defensive lineman, and David, that's a spot, particularly on the ends, where they don't have a lot of depth because Carson Jordan was supposed to be a starter, got hurt in the opening game. They dismissed starter Tanner Reeves before the season for an arrest back in April. And it looks like Overstreet just got landed on.
Yeah, he's holding his rib cage in the inside like he got rolled up on. Maybe he just got the wind knocked out of him. And if you're a Western Kentucky coach or defensive player right now, you're hoping that it gets up. They've been playing D'Angelo Malone. He's been getting in there to get some reps and to make sure that they're getting some rest. But that's a freshman out there. And when Overstreet, who has the production as a senior, who can make those third down stops like he did last week, it's very vital that he gets back out on the field.
So the clock resumes running. Old Dominion does not have to run another play here in the third quarter.
You just saw Overstreet look at his head coach and say, I'm okay, and the trainer, I'm okay, so you expect him to come back out.
And the Monarchs are going to take this to the fourth. They trailed by a touchdown at halftime. But thanks to a turnover and some big runs, they've got a double-digit lead. 31-21 at the end of the third. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Old Dominion 0-3 all-time against Western Kentucky, but up by 10 as we start the fourth. And take a look at the Chick-fil-A game summary. Monarchs have done it on the ground here tonight. 245-48 for the Hilltoppers. And David, 316 yards for Western Kentucky in the first half, -3 in the third quarter.
You look at the way that they came out. They were getting themselves penalties. You take a big sack. You put yourself in 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20. And you're almost trying to climb out of quicksand to start the second half. And you've got to give a lot of credit to Old Dominion and the way that they've came out and, once again, like they did in the first to start the game, throw the punch. They're doing it now again. And
first play of the fourth quarter, and Cox spins out of a tackle. Gets beyond the chains, and so it is a first down. And at some point you start to wonder, the injuries that Western Kentucky's had on defense, the amount of time in the second half they've been on defense, at what point they just wear down.
And not to mention, like I was saying, you have to give this Old Dominion offensive line a lot of credit. They've been able to control the line of scrimmage. And when you're looking at Lowry, who's carrying the ball 21 times this game and averaging 7.7, he's got 3 touchdowns in this game. He's had 4 twice in his career, and the last time he did it was in 2014 against Western Kentucky.
And that time knocked down in the backfield by Julian Lewis, who's getting the start tonight. Speaking of injuries, because Evan Sainer's missing the game.
But where is that pressure coming from? The backside of the zone. That's where early on you saw the backside guard and tackle being able to move that. Now they were able to adjust on the defensive side of the ball. They did it on first down. Now here we are on second down, able to get that penetration and the crash to where Lowry had nowhere to go with that backside cutback.
2nd and 12 for ODU, up by 10 here, a minute gone by in the fourth quarter. Williams loads and fires, and it's over the head of his intended receiver, Harper. DeAndre Ferris in coverage. And so that'll bring up 3rd down and long for Stephen Williams.
And this is a position that they haven't been in. You see the comeback on the outside, trying to get it there. Nice defensive stop by Ferris.
Now, Old Dominion's been great on third down tonight. 7 of 11 for a team that coming into the game was converting 30%, which was one of the worst in the nation. Just one mistake tonight for Williams, and it was an interception. They keep it safe here on third down and content with this 10-point lead to not put it in the air, grind out some time and see what can happen.
Especially when you're sitting at 3rd and 12 where you got the ball at this position. You know that defensively, first thing you're looking for is a draw. The next thing you're looking for is either a running back screen or just a quick wide receiver screen, and try to get as many yards as you can possible to get out.
So Nakarius Fant back deep to receive the punt for Western Kentucky. Bailey Kate has knocked them both for 47 yards. He got hit on the punt. Fant the fair catch at the 30. But there is no flag. Three yards on the punt. Kate looked like he got hit, but nothing was thrown.
He definitely got hit.
Coach Bobby Wilder can't believe it. Well, maybe not.
That's good acting.
10-point lead for Old Dominion. Jason Horowitz, David Deal, and Eric Coleman, third member of our team.
Talking to Coach Wilder at halftime, one thing that he said was they wanted to change up the coverages on Mike White and mix up the blitzes. They wanted to make sure that he's uncomfortable in the pocket so he doesn't have time to sit back there and pick apart their defense.
Well, they've certainly done that, Eric. Rich Nagy, their defensive coordinator, he's gotten 3 sacks for his defense. And you mentioned the number they had coming into the night, David Deal, about 20 sacks coming in, but 15 of those were in the first 2 games against Albany and UMass. Tonight's been a different story.
It most certainly has, and that they said that was the biggest thing, and we need the production, but more than anything, if we can get the pressure, the hurries, and get them off of the mark, then we can do different things on the back end coverage-wise, which Eric talked about.
DeAndre Furby on first down. A 7-yard pickup for an offense that really had its way in the first half for Coach Sanford, but had negative yards in the third quarter. Furby again on second down. And he's close to the marker, but about a yard shy, and that'll bring up third down. Denzel Williams making the tackle. That is his 9th tonight.
You see that there was some confusion between the guard and the right tackle, both blocking the same linebacker and leaving somebody open up in the hole.
Third and 1 for the Hilltoppers, down by 10. And White keeps it himself and moves beyond the marker. That's a first down. That is the second time they have done that on 3rd and 1 tonight.
Good push by Dennis Edwards, the center, and right guard or left guard Brandon Ray. You see that surge, that push. Nicely done.
Quick throw, Jernigan, but no room. Sean Carter, starting safety, right on him when he caught the ball. He did pick up 4 on first down.
And that's where you see that pressure and the hurry starting to creep up on Mike White, because that is a ball that you have to deliver to the outside of the wide receiver so he can turn it up and run down the sidelines and get some extra yardage out of it. Thrown inside because of the pressure.
Again, a quick pass. Again, it's Jernigan. Approaching midfield, about a yard shy of the first down, so it is once again 3rd and 1. Hilltoppers, the 2-time defending Conference USA champs, already with a loss in conference this year. That to Louisiana Tech. They led by a touchdown at the half. On 3rd and 1, it's Furby bursting through. Williams brought him down, but a pickup of 5 and a first down.
Marvin Branch blitzed on that one, in which he was, regardless of what they did, added on, but he actually ran past the hole. So he took himself out of the play himself.
Jernigan, his 3rd catch of this drive. And Denzel Williams escorts him out of bounds. That's a pickup of 6. Take a look at the standings here again. This is the East Division. Marshall's dominating Middle Tennessee tonight on the road. So barring a major comeback, they're going to go to 3-0. FAU, FIU, all improved. This division last year was Western Kentucky and Old Dominion. It's much tougher to get to the Conference USA Championship game from this division this year. White settles down, open receiver. It's Eccles Looper. He works it to the 24-yard line on a 15-yard pickup.
This is where he shows his shiftiness. You see him come off of the line of scrimmage, give a little something, breaks it off inside, and once again, Mike White can hit him in stride. You can see that the timing between him and the wide receivers are meshing that well.
Baker through the hole. Carter and Marvin Branch Jr. made the tackle. This is what Western Kentucky's offense looked like in the first half. The pace, the tempo, the selection.
The negative plays, the sacks, that's what taking them out of this type of playing.
2nd and 7 for White. Settles in. It's too high. Williams drilled Jernigan. Well, Williams was flagged for targeting in the first half, but they picked up the flag. This time, I don't know that they're going to pick up the flag.
We'll see the replay here. The one before, when he was targeted in the first half, he got his shoulder across. Let's see it one more time.
Well, the first part of it is he defenseless. The second part of it, do you hit him above the neck and head area? As they look at Quinn Jernigan on the sidelines.
Unnecessary roughness, defense, number 25. The penalties half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
So no targeting
So no
call.
targeting, yep. So the personal foul, but no targeting.
But the question is he that far beyond the play being caught for it to be unnecessary roughness?
And that's the biggest question that you're looking, because his eyes, as a defensive back, you're not just looking at the football, you're trying to dislodge him from the football.
Eric is a safety for 10 years in the NFL. What do you think?
I think that's a clean shot. Playing cover 2, you're coming off that hash. You don't have time to see if the receiver is going to catch the ball or not. I think that's a clean shot. Great play by the safety. It's unfortunate that it cost his team.
I just don't understand if it's not targeting when it's that bang-bang and the ball is right there, how that's unnecessary roughness.
And that's what you think about immediately, because like you said, and like Eric said, when you're coming over there and you think the wide receiver has the ball, you're either trying to drill it so you drill the wide receiver so the ball's either dislodged, or you knock him out of bounds because he's up in the air.
Now, he didn't meet any of the rules for targeting, which is why they didn't call targeting. Either way, Western Kentucky set up in 1st and goal at the 10. And it's Furby for a pickup of 1 as Western Kentucky is once again into the red zone, brought to you by Verizon. They have gotten there 4 times tonight. Couple of touchdowns. Once they had an interception. The other, they went for it on 4th and 3 and didn't get it. 2nd and 8, they can get a first down at the 1. White to the end zone, it's caught! Touchdown to Carius Fant! 9-yard strike, and they're back within 4.
Great play design. They went back to it. Earlier in this drive, we saw Looper run the inside route. They hit Looper on it. This time, Looper runs that same exact route. The defensive backs take their eyes to Looper playing the inside. Fant is able to get around the backside, get over the top, and what a huge touchdown.
Eric?
That was a great play call. We call that in the secondary a China 5. The number 1 receiver runs an underneath route. The 2 receiver runs a 5 route, isolating that safety and coverage. A lot of the times, the receiver's going to win against the safety. That was a great play call.
Extra point up and good. Fant's 2nd touchdown grab of the season. Their leading receiver. And Mike White's got his 4th touchdown pass tonight to bring the Hilltoppers within 3. Nakarius Fant with a touchdown grab of 9 yards to bring Western Kentucky back within a field goal. David Deal, what did you see?
I saw the same play run 3 plays earlier where they actually hit Eccles Looper on the inside. But this time, what do? They run the same motion. Eccles Looper goes inside. You see all 3 defensive backs, their eyes on him. And what does Denzel Williams have to do? He has to try coming over the top of all that and make the play on Nakarius Fant. Very difficult job. Great play design on the offensive side of the ball for Western Kentucky.
And how did they get inside the 10-yard line? A penalty called on Denzel Williams. Was not targeting, called for unnecessary roughness on a pass that was too high of Quint Jernigan. Wasn't really a late hit, but they did call it unnecessary roughness. And so we got a 1-possession game once again. Harper cannot get back to the 15-yard line. Hammered by Daquan Mobley. Well, there's more college football coming up next. Late night Mountain West matchup. Nevada and Air Force trying to get their seasons back on track. It's all right here on CBS Sports Network. Rich Waltz, Aaron Murray, Cassie McKinney. Waiting to bring you that one. Arian Worthman, Ty Ganji getting set. See what Aaron Murray thinks of those 2 quarterbacks. Do you think Aaron Murray could run the option like Arian Worthman?
I don't know, but I'm hoping for an Air Force win. My dad was in the Air Force, so even though I'm a proud Fighting Illini, that's my second team to root for.
All right, so we'll see if that takes course tonight in Reno. But here in Norfolk, we've got a 3-point Old Dominion lead. 8:58 to go in the 4th quarter. Freshman quarterback's been great tonight, taking a shot for Harper, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Drell Green on his 21st birthday. He's got his 2nd pick of the season, and maybe the biggest play of the night.
Well, coming into this football game, you knew that they were going to try to take their shots from that slot, whether it was Cox or Harper. This time, Harper in that slot position, try to take a shot downfield, but you see that that ball is underthrown, and you see the recovery.
2nd interception tonight of Old Dominion's freshman quarterback. Now, he shook it off the first time, but it led to a Western Kentucky touchdown right at the end of the 2nd quarter, which gave the Hilltoppers the lead. And now they're in position to try and do that again. Happy birthday, Drell Green. 21 years old and a chance to celebrate.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. Go get rewarded now at bestwestern.com. By Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Mortgage confidently. And by Verizon. The best network and the best unlimited.
Now, both teams emphasized they had to get takeaways tonight. And Western Kentucky has just intercepted Stephen Williams for the 2nd time in the ballgame. Drell Green, the 200-pound junior out of Atlanta, giving his team an opportunity down 3. Old Dominion trailed by 7 at the half. 31-21 lead to start the 4th. But it's Hilltoppers ball here on 1st and 10. Quick pass. That's out to Fant. And he's close to a 1st down. Stepped out of bounds before the 35, but a pickup of 9 on 1st down.
On that one, Rob Thompson, you're out there at the safety position. You've got to press that wide receiver, Jernigan, right into the wide receiver. You see him playing soft. You know that you're the force guy. Force that football to come back inside where the rest of your defense is coming from.
A handoff to Baker. Toll Addison brought him down. Let's go back to Brent Stover with a Best Western update.
Jason, it's Keon Davis, 2 first-half touchdowns, including this one from 9 yards out. They just started the 3rd quarter. Marshall all over Middle Tennessee, 31-10.
Brent, thank you. Marshall last week was all over Old Dominion, 35-3 to get to 5-1 on the season. That was a game where Old Dominion had held the Thundering Herd to 14 points until the 4th, then it exploded on them. Here tonight, they've got the lead in the 4th. White to the air. Open receiver, and the lead is gone. Quinn Jernigan on the catch. White's 5th touchdown pass of the night.
We saw them earlier going after it a little bit. They were going after JoJo Heaton, the redshirt freshman, who's filling in at that cornerback position and starting today. You see him playing one-on-one. You see the right route by Jernigan. You see him being able to go get up and use his big body, get the separation, and Mike White put that ball right on the money.
44 yards in 4 plays, and the interception from Stephen Williams turns into 7 for the Hilltoppers. 14 points on 2 takeaways, and the 5th-year seniors team is up 4. Along with David Deal and Eric Coleman on the field, Jason Horowitz, happy to have you with us. Different 3rd quarter from the 4th. And Western Kentucky's up 35-31 on Mike White's 5th touchdown pass of the night. This one to Quinn Jernigan.
They go 2-by-2 set, and Quinn Jernigan's at the top of the screen. And what do you see? You see off man, not pressing at the line of scrimmage. And what does he do? Just gives him a little double move at the sticks. You see JoJo Heaton drop, put his feet in the ground, thinking that he's going to have to drive on the football. Quinn Jernigan rolls right by him and gets the touchdown.
And Eric, what'd you see?
Well, I saw JoJo Heaton, when he made that break on the double move, he took his eyes straight to the backfield. And when you're in man-to-man coverage during a blitz situation, you must look at your man. There's an old rule we used to say, if you see him throw it, you're going to see your man catch it. And he had his eyes in the backfield that time.
Eric, it's the 2nd straight week for Mike White that he has thrown 5 touchdown passes to 5 different receivers.
That's a great job of opening up the playbook by Coach Sanford.
Off the return, it's Harper trying to give ODU good field position. He does not get back to the 20. And how about this 4th quarter? Mike White to Nakarius Fant to get him back within 3. Then Stephen Williams threw his 2nd pick of the game. Drell Green had that one. And we just saw this for the lead to put Western Kentucky back in front.
Number 44, 5-yard penalty and re-kick.
And if you missed that, Rodney Burnett, our referee tonight, Western Kentucky was offsides on the kickoff. And so they will re-kick. They'll push him back 5 yards and try and give Isaiah Harper a chance for Old Dominion. And Stephen Williams, 17 years old, will turn 18 on November 4th. Coaches told us we need to work on him having a short memory. He did a great job after halftime in the 3rd quarter. Can he do it again?
And that's the biggest question. You have time. You've got your timeouts. The one thing that you like is that he believes in his arm strength, but at the same time, you know that if you're going to get it out there, make sure Harper's the only one that can get it. If you're throwing into double coverage, overthrow it. Put it in a position where he can only get it. You saw him pull up, underthrow it, and you see the recovery by the birthday boy, Drell Green. But in this one now, same thing. You know that as a quarterback that you understand that where you're at, you're down 35-31. You have 2 timeouts, but be smart with the football.
Drives Harper back to the 1 on the re-kick. And he gets back over the 20. So the penalty cost Western Kentucky a couple of yards, but no harm. And so here comes Stephen Williams on the night, 11 of 17. 129 yards. He has the 2 picks. He has run for 31 yards. He has made good decisions, except on 2 plays, which, in talking to the coaches, they liked how he played against Florida Atlantic, but he made 4 bad plays. They were all picked, and they lost that game by 4 touchdowns.
And that was the game that Jeremy Cox had 202 yards rushing and averaged 9.1 a clip.
And tonight, Ray Lowry's got 159 rushing. That is Cox on the quick catch, and he takes it out over the 30. Pickup of 11 and a first down on their first play.
Nice job of getting it to Cox. Running it out of that slot, a little wide receiver screen. We used to call that razor, razor, razor. You get it out there, let your wide receivers block it, an offensive lineman out there and try to get as many chunk yards as you can.
Handoff to Lowry. Picking his hole, his lineman pushing him out close to the 35-yard line. So 3 on first down will bring up 2nd and 7. Lowry up to 162 yards rushing. to go with 3 touchdowns here tonight.
And you'll take 3 all day on first down, because 3 on second down, that's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 4, 3rd and whatever you want to be in. They just got to make sure that they do not have negative plays here on second down.
Lowry through the middle. There's no room. Bertram, along with Chris Johnson, clogging up the hole. And so 3rd and 6 is what's facing Williams with 6:20 and counting, down by 4.
They bring in Todd and Harper.
Vaughn to the bottom of your screen as well. 2 backs with Williams. Out of the backfield, he's got the running back, Jamonte Jackson. And it's out to the 41, but he's short of the marker. So 4th and 1 with 5:45 to go. Are you going for it?
This point where you're on the football field, that's a long one, if anything.
Now they are.
Well, obviously they are. For me, this is a judgment call. And when you're down in this position, you got to go for it.
Williams on the option, keeps it himself. 1st down and more. Stephen Williams picks up 12 and a huge 4th down conversion.
Everybody's looking for a flag. You hear him screaming for a late hit on Stephen Williams.
Well, they are showing confidence in their freshman quarterback. All 6'4", 197 pounds of him.
Nice block by Tony Barnett, getting up to the 2nd level, getting a little knockdown, and was able to spring Stephen Williams for the 1st.
Approaching 5 minutes to go in the 4th. It's Lowry on 1st down with the carry. Spins out of a tackle, not the 2nd one. Green up from his safety spot to make the hit. Bailey cleaned it up. And they pick up 3 on 1st down. Well, the other part that comes into play at some point, although you're down 4, and you're kind of starting to see it with the pace here for Old Dominion, is you don't want to score too quickly.
No, because you don't want to give Mike White an opportunity to get back out on this football field.
Quick pass, Vaughn the reception. Down to the 36-yard line, and another 1st down for the Monarchs. Melvin Vaughn with his 4th catch of the night.
Melvin Vaughn, but look at Isaac Weaver, goes out there, makes a play, and is able to spring him to the next level. Nice job by the left tackle getting out there and making a block.
And this offensive line deserves a ton of credit tonight. No sacks on their quarterback, and they have run for 265 yards.
And again, Andrew Lawson, the big tight end offensive lineman in that fullback.
A handoff to Lowry again. Bertram shoves him back. Maybe 1 on 1st down. That is 11 tackles tonight for Deshaun Bertram. 5th-year senior making just his 3rd career start. Been a big-time special teams player at Western Kentucky for a while, but he's making some big-time hits tonight.
And Clayton White said he is the quarterback of the defense. He can point things out, identify, and make sure everybody knows assignment and alignment.
Quick pass out to Lowry. He's got some space. Great shoestring tackle to Corey and Darden. Got Lowry before he got any more momentum and brought him down around the 30.
And good thing he did, because look at the offensive lineman once again out in front. Chad Hendricks has a nice block. If he doesn't make that little shoelace tackle, that's going to be another big gain for Lowry.
So another 3rd down on this drive for Old Dominion. They need the 25. Williams keeps it himself. Powers through. He's close, but looks to be short. Did not quite get to the 25. And now we're under 2:40 to go here in the 4th quarter. Down by 4 with 2:30 to go. You're within field goal range, but a field goal won't tie the game.
That's why you got to go. You got to go for it.
And a timeout taken.
I mean, you know, yes, you would like to see if you could kick the. You don't have the ability to kick the field goal right now. They've got 3 timeouts. They're up 4 points. A field goal isn't going to tie the game. You've got to go for it on 4th and 1.
Well, there's some confusion.
Timeout, ODU, 30 seconds.
Now, initially, the umpire Sheldon Davis signaled timeout for Western Kentucky, and there was a conversation from the officials. It is Old Dominion taking its 2nd timeout of the half. They've converted 1 4th down already this drive. It was at their own 43, and there were 6 minutes to play.
Yep.
What's the play call here on 4th down?
That time they went with the zone read, and Williams kept it on this one. It is a tight 4th and 1. As much as you want to say that you want to let him use his legs, you've got to either try to attempt to get it to Lowry or Cox. Those are the bigger bodies. You know that they're going to load up the box. And if you're not going to run the football, if you've got man press, if you have a bigger bodied wide receiver like a Melvin Vaughn, if he's getting that press man, you can get him a quick slant, get something inside. That's where you go for it.
4th and maybe the ball game with 2:25 to go and a jumbo set. Lowry, he fumbled the football. Western Kentucky's Bertram comes away with it.
The ruling on the field is the ball was fumbled and recovered by the defense while on the ground. 1st down, Western Kentucky.
Wow. What a tough way to do it. You see that there's not a clean mesh between Williams and Lowry in there. See, Lowry has his hands in there. You don't see it. That's Lowry. That's all Lowry. That was put right in there. You could see that his eyes got big. He's trying to look at the hole. Make sure before you do anything, tuck that football away.
And that's exactly what Stephen Williams was just saying.
It was there. I put it in there.
So a drive deep into Western Kentucky territory. And Ray Lowry, who had not fumbled since 2015, fumbles on 4th down and with the game at hand.
Especially with the game that he's had today, the way that he's run the football. And the most unfortunate thing of it is if he holds that football, they're getting the first on that. There is a hole, and he's going to get the first.
So now with 2:21 and 1 timeout, Western Kentucky cannot run out the clock, but they can get pretty close. Furby on 1st down, and he gets about 3. And the question here for Old Dominion, when you use that last timeout. And they're not going to use it here.
Wait and see how 2nd down plays out, and then look at that timeout.
Now, 1 timeout will ice it.
Yep.
Excuse me, 1 1st down will ice it.
1 1st down.
Western Kentucky came into the 4th quarter down by 10. And now Mike White with his 5 touchdown passes trying to ice what would be a 4th straight win for the Hilltoppers. High snap, Furby pushing. Finally goes down, and now Coach Wilder takes that final timeout. That's the last time ODU can stop it, and they do it with 1:32 to go here in the 4th.
ODU, that's their 3rd full timeout.
Let's take a look at our Ace Hardware player of the game, and a lot to choose from, a lot of great performances. But Mike White, for a 2nd straight week, has thrown 5 touchdown passes.
And you can see that he has the confidence, and the way that they've been able to adjust the personnel, this offense, tailor it to his strengths after the struggles that he had, you know, with the turnover to a new coach, a new system. You can see that it's definitely affected the way that he's played, spreading the football around once again to more than 10 different receivers and players on the offensive side of the ball. So back-to-back games of 5 touchdowns, and he's really led this team to their 2nd straight win.
Now, this game's not over yet. It's 3rd and 5 for Coach Sanford. Old Dominion doesn't have any timeouts left. If you run it and don't get the first, the Monarchs can get the ball back with about 40 seconds to go. So would you put it in the air knowing you've got a fifth-year senior, and if you get the first down, the game's over?
Well, one of the things that you'll also do is you could possibly put it in there, but if you put it on the ground, you know that you're going to take a delay so that you move it back a little bit, let the time go down as much as you possibly can. And
but would you pass it?
Would I? Yes, I would.
Put it in your best player's hands.
Absolutely, and if you're going to do it, it's not going to be a deep ball. It's going to be a go screen, a quick slant, one of those.
White keeps it.
Now that I would not do.
Denzel Williams didn't buy the fake. And so the clock will continue to roll. Old Dominion out of timeouts. They can take this all the way to 48 seconds before either taking the delay or punting it away.
They're going to run it down, take the timeout.
And keep it all the way down to 47 seconds before Coach Sanford has to use that timeout. Which they do right here. So 48 seconds on the clock.
It's their first full timeout.
Western Kentucky will have to punt it away. And in a game where Old Dominion has had 3 turnovers, the last one being a 4th and 1 Ray Lowry fumble, something that hadn't happened in 2 years, they will still have a chance to win this ball game.
And that's all you hope, is that in the fourth quarter that you still have an opportunity when you have a fumble or a turnover like you have on the offensive side of the ball. Granted, you're going to be fighting the clock. You've got 0 timeouts. It's going to be an uphill battle for them. And once again, one of the biggest things that you have to do here is make sure you're smart. Get the ball to the boundary. If you do catch it in bounds, one of the things that you always say as a wide receiver, make sure you hand the official the football, because a lot of times they drop it, the ball's rolling around, the clock's going, offensive line, no penalties, no sacks.
Darryl Brown back deep to receive. Nearly 10 yards per return on the season. So a dangerous return man here for Old Dominion, who will try and give them field position inside of a minute to play. Jake Collins to punt it away. And he gets it away. And he gets a good one away. Brown all the way back to his 23. But he's got room. Brown out to the 40. And that's where the Monarchs will take over with 35 seconds to play. Old Dominion, no timeouts. Down by 4, they got to go 60 yards. With a 17-year-old quarterback who was the youngest player in the FBS to see action this season.
That was a great return. They got it to the midfield. That's exactly what they needed.
It's been a game where they've done it on the ground. Can Stephen Williams win it through the air? Throws it to the outside. It's caught, and Harper's out of bounds. Out to the 47-yard line, so a 6-yard pickup on first down. That play took 5 seconds. Vaughn and Harper to the top of the screen, their 2 best receivers. No pressure again. Williams searching, fires, it's incomplete. Kevin Todd, the intended receiver. And that took 8 seconds and will bring up 3rd and 4.
On that one, you don't mind. He threw it to the sidelines because when he was scrambling, he took his eyes back to the middle of the field and looked right back into double coverage, but was smart enough to pull it back and try getting it outside to Todd.
But it took 8 seconds. Again, no timeouts for the Monarchs. Trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Hilltoppers bring pressure. Williams off his back foot. It's caught! Great strike to Jamonte Jackson, the running back. And it's first down after a 14-yard pickup.
What a throw. He knows pressure's coming down in his face. Ball outside, gets 2 feet in. Does he hold on to it, though? That's what they're looking at. He has it. First down.
Got out of bounds as well, so clock stopped with 17 seconds to play. Williams cannot take a sack. They don't have timeouts. Settles, throws, that's in bounds. And Melvin Vaughn can't get away, and they got to hurry to spike the ball. Are they going to get one more play? They spike it, and 1 second left on the clock.
Wow.
But a flag flies on the near sideline. Did they have all 7 guys on the line? Were they set? If they weren't, there's going to be a 10-second runoff, and this game is over.
And that's the game.
A crucial conversation here from the officials.
Judging by the way that Melvin Vaughn is walking back to the sidelines, I think that's it.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down. First down. No.
That should... Rodney Burnett saying the game's not over. But that should be a 10-second runoff. If you don't have all guys set, that should be a 10-second runoff since the clock was running. This ball game should be over.
And that's what Mike Sanford, the head coach, is yelling at these officials.
They get a play. Williams being chased. Heaves it to the end zone. And it's intercepted. Laverick Johnson with the interception. And Western Kentucky with the comeback victory.
And Stephen Williams took a monster hit. It is still laying right now on the turf.
Stephen Williams grabbing his shoulder. Here was the penalty. They did not have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. And I think everybody on the field thought the game was over.
I thought the game was over. When you have a penalty like that, they're not set. There should be the runoff.
Well, Western Kentucky gets the interception at the end. And Mike White and the Hilltoppers come in and knock off Old Dominion. And now the question is also about Stephen Williams and his shoulder, because he took a massive hit on that throw.
He took a huge hit on that throw, and he's still laying there. They're just still attending to him and just getting him to stand up a little bit now, and you hope for his sake that he's all right.
A valiant effort by the freshman. He got one more play that he shouldn't have had. And he got it to the end zone against his body. But Laverick Johnson with his 4th career interception to preserve it for the Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky to 5-2 on the season. And Old Dominion falls to 2-5 and 0-3 in the conference. And the Hilltoppers move to 3-1 in the conference. What a ball game here tonight in Norfolk. Let's go downstairs. Eric Coleman with hero of the game, Mike White.
Mike, now your team came back in the 4th quarter, showed great resiliency. Can you talk about that, the character of your team?
Yeah, I think, like you said, that just shows the character of the team, and it starts in off-season workouts when we go through our workouts together as a team and we build that chemistry and that bond. And whenever you can get a win like this on the road against a very good team and personally a very good offense, very good defense, it helps build momentum.
Your 2nd straight game, hitting 10+ receivers, 5 touchdowns. How does that feel?
It feels good. Whenever you can get everybody involved, that's what you want to do as a quarterback. You know, you don't want to be feeding just 3 or 4 guys. You want to get everybody involved. That's why they came to play for Western, and we intend to keep doing it.
Great job on the victory. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. Mike Sanford, 2nd youngest coach in the FBS, gets his 2nd road win of the season, and in comeback fashion. 35-31 here in Norfolk, the final. Western Kentucky beats Old Dominion. Now for David Deal, Eric Coleman, and our entire CBS crew, I'm Jason Horowitz. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's send it back to New York City to Brent Stover, along with Houston Nut Christian Fourier in our New York City studios.
Well done by our crew there. Well done by both teams. We were treated to an outstanding ball game. First time since 2012, Western Kentucky has trailed by 10 or more in the fourth quarter and come back to win. That's got to feel good. All of a sudden, you're one win from bowl eligibility and 3-1 now, coach, in Conference USA.
They got to feel really good about that. I tell you, Old Dominion came to play tonight, did a good job with the running game. This freshman quarterback, he's going to learn from this game. Made a couple of mistakes there, the ball handling, some fundamentals, then that last throw to stop the clock inbounds so Western Kentucky could run it out. All those things he'll learn from tomorrow on film. But, boy, give Mike White credit.
Yeah, Mike White, 5 touchdown passes, and the turnovers helped. The fumble recovery helped and led to points, and a couple of turnovers that just, you look for a young wide receiver, a young quarterback for Steve Williams. But let's look at Mike White. I mean, here's a guy that threw 5 touchdown passes. He's got all the skills that you're looking for in an NFL quarterback, and more importantly, the ability to come back and to make throws when you need them most. That's what he was doing. His defense gave him an extra opportunity, and he made Old Dominion pay, throwing the football down the field.
Hey, when you play with a quarterback like that, what kind of confidence do you gain? A guy that, I like it, the gunslinger, directing traffic.
That's your guys.
He can make things happen. How does that change when you have a quarterback like that?
Well, I think in any situation, no matter what, you never believe you're truly out of it. And there was a time that Western Kentucky was doing a great job for the first half of the game. Then they kind of lost their mojo, and they had to fight their way back into this game. Their defense helping. But if you get a quarterback like Mike White, who's proven that he can deliver, if you give him multiple opportunities, eventually you're going to pay. And that's what happened to Old Dominion.
And again, Old Dominion at the end didn't manage the clock, that play into the flat. You got to have something better, right?
You do. You throw the ball in between the hash marks, you got problems. But give that freshman quarterback, he's very young. Good. He's going to learn now. Going to learn.
Another action in Conference USA on this Friday night. Marshall came into the day at 5-1. They're 2-0 in league play, looking to stay perfect as they paid a visit to Middle Tennessee. This game is midway through the third quarter right now as we check out the highlights. Early first here, Coach, it's Tyler King.
Tyler King, really good job of making the first one miss right there, bouncing off a tackle. Look at his teammate. Boom! Good RBI block right there.
Thundering Herd 7-0. Then John Urzua from Middle Tennessee, ill-advised here, Christian.
Well, I mean, not necessarily ill-advised, but great job by the defensive front of Marshall, putting the pressure on the quarterback and forcing the issue. And then getting the pick. Nice job right there by Artis Johnson.
Keon Davis from 9 yards out, departing the Red Seas there. He had 2 first-half rushing touchdowns. It's 31-10, which is the same score it was at halftime as well. Chase Litton, 12 of 18, 134. Leading you up to Air Force Nevada in a couple of minutes. Back with more of our show next.